up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby and friends. Happy New Year is right, Brandon, 2026. Although if you're a New York Jets fan, it has not been a happy New Year, but we will get into that later. Before we start, Sean, Happy New Year. How are
Happy
you?
New
How was the
Year.
holidays?
Fantastic. I got a little story I'll tell. We were just telling Guy before you joined. I'll tell you a little bit later, but had a good New Year. Spent it. This is the first year in like a couple years I've had off, so me and my fiance got to hang out. We went over to my best friend's house. Just good holidays overall.
Love that for you. Guy, how was your New Year? Holidays? You're on mute,
You're muted.
which is shocking.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, no, my New Year was great. Just chilled, was with the family, and you know, the U won on was it New Year's Eve? So just went into 2021 on a high. So can't complain.
And of course, you got on the U today. What's your little jersey looking like?
Nah, it's their baseball jersey, but wanted the
Representing
bright
nonetheless.
orange.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We have a lot. I mean, 2 weeks, it's like a million and one things happen. So let's go ahead and, of course, start with NFL. And before we get to the playoffs, because at least one of our team is in the playoffs this year, I want to just talk about in general how the overall season went for some of our teams. So, Guy, I'm going to start with you. Talking about the Miami Dolphins. How are you feeling about how the season ended? And then, of course, how do you what are your feelings so far on like how the off season is going to go? And do you have hope for 2026?
I mean, this year is something that we've repeated over and over again. We're kind of middle of the pack, like we always are. That's kind of like the worst place to be, because we've been in this mediocrity, this state of perpetual mediocrity, and we seem to like not move forward or progress. So it started off bad this season, but towards the middle and end of the season, they played a lot better, which does give you hope that there is talent there and there is pieces to work with. Whether McDaniel is there next year or not still remains to be seen, but at least our identity is changing, and to me that was the biggest positive. We're going to a more like physical brand of football, which definitely bodes well in cold weather, which is what we should be doing all along. So play through the running game and then play action pass and open the field up that way. I know sometimes we bite ourselves in the ass a lot by trying to be cute and draw up these crazy plays and different ways of doing things. But sometimes the old school and the simple works the best and it's most effective. And I think if we balance that more into, the creativity, you're going to have a little bit more better results. And I'm looking forward to that for next year.
Now, of course, we're going to talk about the draft, but is there someone at least right now on your eye in terms of the draft, like who you want heading to the Dolphins?
I mean, we go into a lot of different directions, honestly. I would say if Tyreek Hill is gone, you could go receiver to pair with Waddle, or maybe a secondary help, which they need badly. So either way, I'm not upset if they go in either direction, but when you pick at number 11, you kind of going best available.
Right. And that's what you were talking about, that whole middle of the pack type of deal. You know what I mean? It's funny. I didn't know you guys were pick 11 until literally right now, probably because I just stay in my lane. I've been so worried about where the Jets are going to end up falling off because obviously we have 2 and then 16 right now. So I was just like, I didn't care about anyone else in between.
Uh-huh.
Well, Sean, before we move on, we'll talk about the Seahawks because we're obviously going to talk about the playoffs and kind of give our predictions and whatnot. So before we shift more to the playoffs, I obviously want to talk about the New York Jets, and then we'll obviously talk about several coaches were fired on Black Monday, as they say. In terms of the New York Jets, a lot of Jets fans wanted Aaron Glenn fired. And I can say right now that I was not fully on board that ship whatsoever. I completely understand the fans' frustrations, and then now looking at who's potentially available, I I understand I would probably be making some calls. But like I've said, in terms of Aaron Glenn, who's paid a lot of money by Woody Johnson handpicked him to say the least, and he also is one of our guys. He was in that locker room. And also, from what I've learned as well, Aaron Glenn just has a great relationship with Woody Johnson. So I'm not too surprised there. But again, I get the frustration for the fans. Obviously, the New York Jets broke history. Week 18 with 0 interceptions on the season, which literally hasn't been done. And that stat will forever be lingering. You best believe moving into week 1 next year, if there's not an interception, I mean, it keeps going. It's this thing is going to be lingering does over MetLife Stadium, to say the least. But as far as 2026, it's going to be a fun off season. It always is with the New York Jets, but it's definitely going to be a fun one. There are plenty of draft picks, lots of money. You need lots of pieces, and like again, we're probably going to be the off-season kings like we always are, but obviously very disappointed to have the Jets kind of go out on that losing streak. Worst point differential in December. I mean, it's just this team is frustrating to say the least. So, any coaches you want to? Obviously, a couple of coaches were fired, I should say. Is there any you want to start with in particular, Sean or Guy?
We got to start with the obvious one, don't we?
Yep.
We got to start Harbaugh. I mean,
well, that's what
Lord.
I'm thinking too. Let's start with you, Guy. Overall thoughts on the firing? Was this expected for you?
I wouldn't say I expected it, but hearing some of the things that were coming out of Baltimore, there was some, rift behind the scenes between quarterback and coach. And like I always say, like when there's a lack of cohesion between quarterback and coach, there's going to be, somewhere along the line it's going to suffer, right? And then the organization is going to have to pick a side. And it looks like they picked Lamar Jackson's side, right? So, he ran his course of 18 years in Baltimore, which is a lot more than a lot of other people can say. So maybe it was just a time for a change of scenery, right? He's a hell of a coach, and I know he's going to be successful wherever he goes because, he's a great, culture setter, for teams that might need that change. I'm looking at like the New York Giants, as maybe a good landing spot for him. Stability is what they need. So some type of leadership. He'll have a young offensive core to work with. I mean, personally, I will love him in Miami, but that's going to be tough. But I know anywhere that he'll wind up, he's going to do a great job.
Now, this question for both of you. What do you think happens in terms of Lamar? Do you think now he has basically an available sticker over his head? Sean?
No, they wouldn't have fired Harbaugh if he had an available sticker over his head. I mean, I don't know. I've heard like 10 different reports out of Baltimore, so I don't really know. I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. The main thing I'd heard before all of the news came out was he just didn't agree with the direction they wanted to take with the coordinators. And then that came out first. And then it came out all the players didn't like him. And then that was told to definitely be not true. There was players in his office crying. So you can kind of see like the PR aspects of both sides trying to save face. Obviously, there's a lot of money involved. Like if you were fired, if you left on your own terms, right? Because there's like nuances and clauses within contracts that activate. But yeah, I think Lamar stays. I'm very curious to see who they hire. I think it's going to end up being Kubiak from us. That's my idea. We'll see. I would like to see like Derrick Henry in an offense that like respects what he does. I think that he doesn't get involved in the pass game. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Lamar. I think he's done what he can. I don't think Lamar's ever going to win a Super Bowl. I don't think I think his good years are behind him, and I know that's crazy to say, but um, it's like the RG3 effect to me. Like once you get those leg injuries and the hammies and everything like that, you kind of start. And he's become a better pocket passer. And I don't want anyone to sit here and think because of that Pittsburgh game he's suddenly good. Pittsburgh's defense is trash. They let up those two 50-yard plus bombs in open space. They weren't like contested throws, like beautiful throws. We're like, oh yeah, Lamar's a great pocket passer. Like he's better pocket passer than he was coming out of Louisville for sure, but he's not wowing anybody. And if you can't wow with your arm and you can't wow with your legs anymore, I mean, we've seen what happens with quarterbacks like that.
I don't even think that's crazy to say because, Guy, we had talked about it. I remember you specifically made a comment about it early on in the season with his running, and he just looks like there's like a mental disconnect there almost.
Yep. Yeah. And when you have that, that you just handicap your ability for that year. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people had them going very far this year, right? So obviously the expectations were high, but we're starting to see like the era of the mobile quarterback that their shelf life isn't as long as the pocket passer. Maybe this might be another shift in philosophy when it comes to quarterbacks.
Can we talk about that game just in particular? I mean, wow, what a treat to have, playoffs on the line, but to have it end, I mean, that fourth quarter was insane, but to have it end that particular way, we saw Boswell miss the extra point, and I was like, okay. And then I'll tell you right now, I feel so bad for Tyler Loop. Obviously, he's an Arizona guy, a rookie, and I was kind of torn because, again, I've said it before, I wanted Aaron Rodgers back with the Jets this year. And so I kind of wanted him in the playoffs kind of as a big, see, I told you so type of deal. But I also wouldn't have minded Tyler Loop sending, the Ravens to the playoffs either. And that kick, he said after the game that he could tell from the moment it was kicked that it wasn't good. And that's how it usually goes. So what a treat, honestly, though. And I mean, we got even another treat with the Bucks Panthers game that weekend too. So
I want to ask a question. I'm just curious because this is like I played football my whole life. I'm big into like the analytics and stuff of it all. To me, there was 30 seconds or so left on the clock. You have Derrick Henry, who I know has fumbling issues, quote unquote. He doesn't fumble that much. It's just in like times. Does anyone else have like an issue with 30 seconds left of the game and 2 timeouts and they kneel the ball? That's 2 yards they lose.
You're going to run another play.
Yeah. So to me, like you lose 2 yards, and I know that may not sound like a big deal, right? But if you give the ball to Derrick Henry or have Lamar, tush push it or whatever you want to do, I mean, you're talking about possibly like a net negative of like 7 yards that you lost because you decided to kneel it and take it down. And like Loop hasn't missed a kick under 50 this year. I'm pretty sure that was the stat. And I understand like it's a kicker's job, quote unquote, but like the reality of it is from like just this pure stat standpoint, it doesn't make sense for me to make the field goal longer. Like I feel like you give your kicker the best chance that you can to win the game. And honestly, they shouldn't have even been in a position to win the game because Boswell missed a gimme anyways. It should have been at the minimum going to OT. So they got lucky to even get it to that point, if I'm being completely honest. But then the other argument is would they have been more aggressive down the field? And we saw how Pittsburgh defense looked in the fourth quarter. How, would Lamar have attacked them down the field a bit more, and maybe they could have scored if it was a 3-point game. But I'm just curious to see, like, what do y'all think about that? Because I found it very odd. With 30 seconds left and 2 timeouts, you decided to kneel it.
Guy, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a strange call. That doesn't make any sense, especially I don't care about Derrick Henry's fumbling issues. He has a long enough track record where he can get me some yards and get me closer, right? I'll take that chance. Also, to your point, I thought that they took their foot off the gas. They should have just been as aggressive as they were the whole fourth quarter. because they were having success. I know, you run the risk of incompletes and all that, but man, they were gashing them in the deep ball. Jalen Ramsey was getting burned like repeatedly.
Smoked. Absolutely smoked.
Repeatedly.
They kept showing him on the camera, and he's just like with his head down. And I'm like, dude, you are getting your ass whooped.
Seriously. And yeah, like, why would you take a knee? I have no idea. That to me, like, anytime you play real conservative or safe, or you try not to lose or try to be too perfect, it ends up biting you in the ass in the end. And that's what happened there. Like, they should have went as close as possible so that their kicker can have the easiest possible kick. That it's just unfortunate because it's not on him. They should have put him in a better position to execute.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just a really big position for someone is a rookie. To be honest, there's an immense amount of pressure and in that type of environment and whatnot. So crazy game, but Steelers make it nonetheless. Let me ask you one question before we move on. Do you think if the Steelers lost, would Mike Tomlin have been gone?
Probably not.
I don't even think Harbaugh should have been fired, frankly. I think that was a ridiculous firing. And from what I've heard and who I know, it's pretty much Harbaugh is almost positively going to the Giants. And there's like a small outside chance that he goes to the Falcons, like a very minuscule chance. And I think that comes down to money. I think both teams are set up pretty well. Both of their front offices are trash. So, I mean, he's going to have to deal with that. But I think that the Giants, you have Mora and the other guy, I can't remember his name, but Morris, don't know how true it is, but I've heard he has cancer, so I don't know what's going on there. And then, if he goes over there, if Harbaugh goes over there and gets full control, I mean, I think as trash as the Giants are, they've been the worst football team in like the last 15 years or so, wins-wise. I think I saw a stat. It was like the Giants, if you combine the Giants and the Jets wins in the last like 10 years or 15 years, there's still 8 other teams in the NFL that have more wins than them by themselves. Like, that's kind of a crazy stat. But I do think that the Giants, they have a good draft pick this year. They have a ton of solid players. You got Jackson Dart. You're getting Scatterboo back. You got Neighbors who, I know it was reported he had an ACL injury, but I think from what I heard, he had like an MCL tear as well. So that's a full knee reconstruction. Is he going to come back and be the player he is? But that's a very intriguing place to go,
I agree. All right, let's move on to the next firing, which I guess that's a big name, and one I want to go to next is Pete Carroll. Obviously, one and done with the Raiders. Sean.
Yeah, I think everyone knew it was one and done, though. I don't think it was a shock to anybody, and it's just like weird to me. I don't think Geno Smith is like a great quarterback, right? By any means, I was happy we got Sam Darnold for the price we got. I did not want to pay Geno the amount of money that he wanted. But like, if you look minus that offensive line, because I mean, good Lord, if you watch any Raiders game, which nobody probably was, but Genty couldn't get past like 2 yards out of the backfield. But outside of like their offensive line, which I feel like you can reconstruct, not easy, but like you can reconstruct something like that. The weapons that they have on offense are kind of crazy, right? If you go out and you get Mendoza or Moore, whichever one, I think Moore is probably going to end up going number 1 overall, depending on how the playoffs go. But either way, you get a franchise quarterback. You go after offensive line. I think Max Crosby is going to be on his way out, so that's going to be interesting to see what that does with the defense. But they don't have the best defense. They don't have the worst defense. They're not like the Cleveland Browns where like their defense is elite, but their offense is just complete dog water, right? But it's just a weird, like, I don't know how Pete Carroll messed it up so bad with like what they had, and it doesn't feel like it's a bad landing place to go.
Guy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders are just a mess though as an organization.
Yeah.
I mean, from ownership down, they have the most losses in the last like 30 years. So like, well, since about like 2002. So since the Tuck rule thing, like they just precipitously dropped and are one of the worst franchises in the sport. And it's sad because they do have a lot of history, but I, they're still paying like 5 coaches right now.
Yeah, 60 million. Well, it's not 60 million. I'm sorry. I think it's 4 actually. I know what you're talking about because they settled with one of the coaches.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's a ridiculous amount of money that they're paying. I was reading on that today. I was like, Jesus, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. And that kind of instability, like you just hope that you get somebody to change the fortunes, right? That's why they, I guess, have Tom Brady as a minority owner to kind of change the luck there. But
I think they gave him like full control too to like do everything from what I understood. So like he literally, they're like, you go choose and hire and do whatever the hell you want. I mean, and quite frankly, you know, if you're letting Tom Brady run your shit, I think you're going to be in a good position. I mean,
yeah,
minus all the stuff that happened with his wife, he's never been bad. And obviously like the weird shit with his kids, right? Like, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't have kids. But like he doesn't have bad press. He doesn't have like a bad image. People, you know, hold him in high regard. He's the most successful quarterback in NFL history, right? Like you can't really, I don't think there's really a recipe for disaster for him to fuck it up even more than it already is, you know?
yeah, you can't get much worse than what they already are. So
Yeah.
but I wonder if that's like if that's going to end up being a conflict of interest with his Fox job and also calling the shots with the Raiders. You know, I know he got a boatload of money with Fox to call games on their commentator team, but you know, he's a smart guy. I don't know how he is as at evaluating talent because you know, when you see like other sports, like great players sometimes don't make the best coaches or you know GMs, so to speak. So I mean, I want to see him try. I want to see what he can do with the Raiders. I mean, you basically have a clean blank canvas to, you know, put your imprint on this team.
And you
Yeah,
basically have like a franchise quarterback you can draft, which again, we've had this comment. We don't think these quarterbacks are like cream of the crop quarterbacks, but it's still something to go off of.
right.
So have an elite tight end, elite running back.
I think they
You
have
know,
a
your
lot of cap space,
receivers,
right?
they have a ton of money. There's a lot of like recipe for success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be a disaster for sure, but there's definitely like the makings of like success soup over there, you know?
100%.
I agree with both of you. Simultaneously, by the way, I'm watching the Arizona game. The one
Hey,
time
they
it's on
started, right?
FS1. Yeah, it's 12-4. They play Kansas State. All right. Falcons obviously move on from Raheem Morris. I think we all kind of expected that too, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Now I'm interested in him coming over and potentially becoming our defensive coordinator. I wouldn't mind that one bit.
I heard he's going to get a head coaching job now.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I'm thinking too.
I did read a whole thread about like how interesting it would be if he was the DC for y'all, and I thought that wouldn't be like bad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would just be very curious to see because he'll probably get a head coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like a horrible coach. I just think that his situation with the Falcons was really unlucky. Like that defense they lost a lot of games they shouldn't have lost, honestly. And
so us included.
yeah, but it's like you're going from like Penix and like you were okay, and then Penix kind of regressed this year a little bit, which everybody kind of expected. Penix was never like an elite quarterback, you know. He was always going to be a project. He's a bit older. I think he was like 26, you know. And then you go from that to Kirk Cousins, who literally can't do anything outside of the pocket, you know. So it's not like. And then you have Drake London hurt like half the year, you know. Bijan's arguably the best. Probably like top 3 player in football. So like, I don't know. It's just hard because I feel for him and I feel like he should have got another year. Like if they just let him like pick a quarterback, you know, and like if he doesn't succeed, then let him go. Cause like I don't hate the guy. I don't think he deserved to get fired. I don't think anyone was shocked about it. I don't think anyone here was shocked about it. But like, it was kind of one of those things for like Stefanski, right? Like, I don't think Stefanski should have been fired either. But both of those guys would get head coaching jobs somewhere else.
And in terms of the Falcons too, even though they were eliminated, they were still playing relatively hard and competitive.
Did you see the stat about them though?
No, what is it?
They're like 11-4 after they've been eliminated the last 3 years, and like
that is
18-47 or so. It's some ridiculous stat where they're like literally like they call them like the playoff Falcons, but they're not in the playoffs. They're just like they play like they're going for the Super Bowl because they just win all of their games when they're statistically eliminated. It's kind of funny.
Well, from what I've been reading, had that game with the Jets and the Falcons gone the other way, the Jets would have the number 1 pick and the Falcons would be in the playoffs. From what
I was reading. Because the Falcons actually held all the tiebreakers. Well, the Falcons would have had to beat the Saints technically still. But yeah, because of how all the tiebreakers worked, that was the funniest thing was because I said if they won the game against the Jets, that was going to be like a 3-way division because that division is absolutely trash. I mean, obviously it didn't matter. And honestly, the Saints won a couple games early on in the year and didn't get just mollywopped. And if they started Shuck early on, I mean, he looked not elite, but I mean, he looked pretty damn good for what they got going on over there. So I was like, could have had like 4 teams, 7-9, and one of them is battling for the playoffs the final week.
Speaking of Stefanski, Sean, you said you did not agree that he shouldn't have been fired.
No, I don't think so. I just think that that organization is dog shit, like top to bottom. It is they're literally the most poorly ran organization. And then I'm not even kidding you. I was talking to someone and they said that don't be surprised if Watson starts next year, start the season.
Well, and I was reading a report on that as well.
I was like, what do you mean? Like, what is that is the most poorly ran organization I have ever seen. I mean, it makes no sense what they do over there. And that defense is literally like a top 4 defense in the league, right? Like the last few weeks they got their ass whooped, but I mean, it's the end of the season. Nobody gives a shit, right? But that offense, I mean, you're rolling out Harold Fannin and friends. Like Harold Fannin is the entire offense. And Quinshon Judkins, inefficient running, in my opinion, still look decent. I mean, they have a good running back, but I mean, he had an injury, broken leg or whatever it was. And they've spent like 14 first-round draft picks in the last 4 years, it feels like, on quarterbacks. Or, 14 picks in general. Like, Dylan Gabriel was in the 3rd, Shador was in the 5th. Like, you're taking flyers on these guys. And then, like, your wide receivers, like Jerry Jeudy. I can't even name you enough. Is it Tillman? Cedric Tillman?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, those guys aren't even making rosters anywhere else. I don't know. It's just – I don't want to get started on the Browns because I could sit here and bitch about the Browns for like 40 minutes because it makes no sense that you can have a defense that good and an offense that bad and you can't even put up like 14 points to win a game because that's all the Browns need to do is put up like 2 touchdowns and they win games. Oh, Trae Young just got traded, by the way.
Dang.
Just now. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut that off.
No, that's fine. And congrats to Myles Garrett for breaking the sack.
Yeah.
That was a very special moment. I loved every single bit of it. I saw it live, so I was like super happy.
Yeah, I was hoping he broke it earlier so everyone would just shut the fuck up about like the extra game narrative and stuff. So it was kind of disappointing they did it in the last game. But then it's like Strahan got an extra game as well and Brett Favre fell down for him, So like there's always that argument.
What's always so funny about like when I see players sometimes is he's so big and he's so huge and he's just like beast on the field. But then you hear him talk outside and whatever else they do in their personal life, and they're like just like a giant teddy bear, like sweet and humble, and the way that they talk is very soft. And he's like one of those guys for me. I absolutely love him. He's just a good player on the field and off the field as well.
Minus smoking Mason Rudolph with a helmet, but we won't talk about that.
That was hilarious. And then one more firing, and that is a good old Arizona Cardinals letting go of Gannon. Guy,
I mean, they
Immediate
had to,
thoughts.
right? They had to. That they need a whole revamp down there.
And to be honest, even from when he was hired, I understand why they hired him, but I was kind of like, I don't think he's the guy, to be honest. You know what I mean? And even now, still hearing him talk and how he addresses the locker room, he does not really get me pumped up necessarily to do anything. He's not making me want to run through a brick wall.
He doesn't invoke any confidence when you listen
Yes,
to him
No.
at all.
exactly. So, Sean, you agree with the firing as well?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, honestly, from like a head coaching perspective, that's like structure wise, it's not an appealing job, quote unquote, because you got to deal with the Kyler Murray contract and stuff. But like, not only that, like, obviously that's like in my opinion, I mean, I think everyone would agree that's the toughest division in the NFL. But like, could go there, get a good little paycheck, and you have like no expectations, you know, like nobody's expecting Arizona to be good or even like come close to winning that division for probably the next 10 years. Like, we have 3 of the best coaches in the NFL in that division, loaded rosters. The Rams are getting a bit older, so we'll see, but like the Niners and, you know, specifically Seattle, we'll talk about them later, but they're like extremely young, right? So like, it's not like a bad job to have. It's just like, you're not inheriting anything except for Trey McBride. You know, you don't really have any running backs that stay healthy. Trey Benson always hurt. Connor coming off a tough injury. Marvin Harrison has been a dud. I'm hoping he can turn it around because he was a generational talent. Michael Wilson's been good, I guess. And the defense, you have like pieces on defense, and everyone thought they were going to be elite this year. Like, everyone thought Arizona was going to be a good team this year, but.
And I will say, I thought they absolutely were. I remember the clip in the beginning of the season where I said that they were going to be a little surprising, and now they're right behind the New York Jets with the 3rd pick in the draft. It's not a terrible spot to be in, but you already know, again, Sean, that division, we agree with you. It's completely stacked every
like I said, there's no expectations, right? Like, it's not, that's what I'm saying is like, the roster isn't constructed for like you to be successful, like the Giants, right? Like, if you take over the Giants or like, you know, the Falcons, like, you have pieces in place that can be seriously good. Arizona has pieces, but like, nobody expects Arizona to be good, and nobody's going to expect them to be like 10 and 7, 11 and 6, right? Like, that's just not going to be your expectation year in and year out. So you're not going to get canned a year later because you went 4 and 13, you know, like everyone's like, oh, wow, what a shock again, you know?
Now, this question for both of you, what do you think this means in terms of Kyler Murray?
Oh, he's gone.
I don't think he's gone, though. I just don't think he's going to start for them again unless there's an injury. I don't know what they're going to do about quarterback, but it's just the nuances of his contract. Like, it's a very large contract. You'd have to attach picks to it to trade it to someone, but then like they're still fucked by the dead money, right? So like it's like Deshaun Watson, right? Like, if you cut Deshaun Watson, you're still in cap hell regardless as the Browns. So like, you might as well just keep him at this point. It's the same thing with Kyler. I just don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't think he starts again, or maybe they'll give him a chance to start the year next year again because what do they have to lose? But like, Brissett looked decent, but I don't think Brissett's a starter, like a long-term starter either. Like, he's the garbage time king, you know? Like, his numbers aren't great in regular time, but when the game doesn't matter, the guy's prime time Peyton Manning over there.
I just got the notification for Trey Young, by the way.
Not a bad trade, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
No picks is kind of crazy, though. I'm not going to lie. From McCollum and Kispert. Got one of the players with the best hair in the league to Trey Young.
I want to ask, did you guys win fantasy?
No.
Give me a second. I got Josh Allen. I lost by 19, and I had Nico and JMO play on Thursday, and I got a total of 11 points from them too. And then I knew I was fucked. And then I had Charbonnet with 30 points on the bench. And then I had Fannin, caught the touchdown early. I'm like, dude, this guy's going to have like a 30-point day. He's going to have a monster day. Catches the touchdown and is out for the game with a groin. And I knew it. And I have Kittle too. So I lost Kittle. I picked up Jake Tongs, whatever his name is. but I put him in my flex. I'm like, I think he's gonna have a big game too, which he did. He had like 15 points. But I'm like, I would have just benched Fannin I just wish he was hurt. I would have just benched Fannin and started Charbonnet, and I would have won. It's just a shame.
We'll get back to Brandon's comment here in just a second. Guy, where'd you fall?
I came in fourth. Like I lost by 0.2 points in the semifinals.
Ooh,
Damn, that's tough.
that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So like after that, I was like, man, F this. You know, like
I was down 48 in the semis going into Monday night or Sunday night. I had CMC and Kittle, and they put up 60. And I advanced to the finals, but then I just got stonewalled in the finals. It was tough.
Can I ask, did your guys' season end week 17 technically?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just learned again my first year, so this is like what it was presented to me, but now I'm finding out that it's odd. So ours did end week 18.
No, that's
So
like the worst fantasy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Okay, so you played that. If you made the playoffs, there was 4 teams. You played that first opponent twice, and then whoever the winner of that was then moved to the championship game where you play them twice.
That you start in week 14 if you do that. 14, 15, 16, 17. I mean, you saw what happened in week 18, right? You get punished for drafting well. You do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Josh Allen goes in for the snap. I mean, I was already gonna win at that point, but like
you actually won your league?
No, I finished in third place, but I won my money back. That's why I was over here just concerned with at least let me get a little piece of the pie, you know.
Well, yeah.
But then as I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, this is total. No offense to my friend if he's watching this, but this is total bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, everyone's just sitting out their people.
Yeah, like, I think that's like the common consensus is that's not fun. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, and I didn't like it either because I'm like, well, why isn't it refreshing so I can go to the next week? And he's like, oh, you play this opponent twice. Well, I got F'd by Kyle Pitts the first week, so I'm already down. Mm-hmm. And then Puka decides, oh, I'm going to put up 40 points this game as well. And I'm like, well, now I'm totally garbage. This is garbage. So I was like, all right. So I did fall in third place, better than last, but I'm not
2 weeks sucks too. Mm-hmm. I just think 2-week playoffs are kind of tough too. I actually think like I've never done it this way, but I was talking to TJ about it. I want to do it to where like you play for 17 weeks and whoever just has the highest points, like, you know, first, second, third, like that's how you win. Like by like drafting well, like you have to actually just have the most points, because how many times you see, I mean, you said you're new, right? But like Guy, if you've done fantasy, how many times have you like seen the guy with the most points for just get absolutely fucked by the guy like everyone he plays, like he'll put up 200 and lose to 210 every single week, you know, like, and then that guy comes in like 8th place and you're like, that sucks. But he put up the most points for in the whole league and didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. I had the most points this year too. And I just got
in our league, the guy that had the most points. Well, it's not true. He had the most points until he stopped caring because he was like mathematically eliminated. He came in like 9th place. But like the 2 people that ended up having the most points for was the guy that won and me. So
yeah, and the guy who won was number 1 the whole entire
What he dropped Jonathan Taylor and someone else. Is that who his team had?
Yeah, well, he's the one that I was telling you, and now I can talk about it because the season's done, but he's like hoarding every single running back. You're trying to trade me all these wide receivers, and I'm like, bro, I literally said, I'm happy to give you, I think one time I was willing to let go of McBride or Warren, and I was like, fine, you can take one of them. But I'm like, you need to give me a running back. You already have McCaffrey and someone else, and you got 2 good people on your bench too that are putting up 20 points that I need. Stop sending me a wide receiver. And no, never. So it's fine. And then, you know, we all send a message, you know, see you for March Madness. And I did win that first year I played with them. I did win it the first year too. So I was like hoping to have better luck during March. So
shout out to Dan watching. He's probably driving his truck around. It's one of my fiance, one of her best friend's husbands. He's a truck driver. He's like, I'm gonna tune into y'all's show while I'm driving around.
Love that. We'll keep you entertained this entire time.
Oh yeah.
All right. So you want to go ahead and move into playoffs?
Yeah, we can for sure.
All right. Before we'll kind of go week by week. I don't necessarily want to do spreads this week. I kind of just want to go each game and kind of see who we think is going to be advancing. Then we can select our winners. Sean, I think we already know yours.
No.
But in general, how are you guys feeling about the matchups overall? Are you excited? You think we're going to have some really good games?
Yeah, we have a really easy matchup this week, actually. So I'm not even worried.
Oh,
about
yeah. The toughest one there.
Yep. The good old bye week. Oh, shit.
Oh, Brandon wants to be on the show. We have to figure that out, honestly. We
I
haven't
think we got
figured
enough
out.
Jets fans, honestly. Jesus.
There's not enough
I
of us.
concur.
You guys have your own podcast, don't you? Get over there. Go that way.
I know I have like my own page. I can talk about the Jets. I have
I watched it one time and you guys like doomering the Jets and I'm like, oh God, this is not the podcast I want to be on. Good Lord.
literally, I don't know how we have things to talk about half the time
Holy
because
shit.
it's just we're not talking about the games. I can tell you that much. We're talking about everything elsewhere.
Maybe next year you guys can talk about an interception.
Literally, that is why I watched the first
Holy smokes.
the last game of the season. I was just so
Hoping?
invested to see. Yes, and we almost did have one. We almost
Did he drop it too? Like it got thrown right to him and he just dropped it?
Yeah,
That's probably
I was
why you
like,
have 0.
Of course. No, literally, that's how it always is. The ball will pop in the air, and it just. I've seen it hit someone dead square in the middle of their chest and fall. I'm like, what? But I'm not gonna lie. We had, I think my co-host said we had like electricians out there. I was like, who the hell is Womack? I know the depth roster pretty well, but this guy, he must have just. No offense to him, he must have just came off the couch or something.
I could have got an interception out there for sure. Put me out
Literally.
there. I already got a pick.
All right, let's go ahead and start with the playoffs. Let me pull up the little playoff bracket here. Do we want to start AFC or NFC?
Why don't we just do day by day, right? Because like Saturday, we just Saturday
I gotta
and
pull up
Sunday.
I gotta pull up the schedule here. I have.
Well, Saturday's the Rams and the first game at 4:30 for me is the Rams and the Panthers.
All right, we'll do Rams and Panthers first then. Guy.
I'm gonna go with the Rams in that game. Just think they're the better team. I don't care that the Panthers beat them earlier in the season. I think the Rams are gonna turn it on now, and they have a relatively easy game compared to everybody else. So I think this is the game to get right. So I think this is if you're like I was saying before, like if you are a 5 seed, like it's not a bad spot to be in. You know, especially if you're able to win on the road, which I think they're more than capable of doing. I think they're in a pretty good spot, to be honest.
How are you feeling overall about the Panthers? Do you think? I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think the Bucs would have been a better matchup against the Rams? Because that's basically what it came down to.
Gene probably thinks so.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy's in the building.
Johnny Boy.
Boy's back. Hello,
He's back, baby. More Jets fans.
Woohoo!
Already starting with the Hurricanes.
God.
That is one of the only like bets I won because I picked Miami spread easily at +9.5, and I was like,
yeah. That's awesome. What was your question? Do you think Tampa would be a better matchup?
Yeah.
I don't.
Or do you think it wouldn't have mattered, period?
I don't think it matters. I think the problem is like Tampa is obviously the more talented team, but like they just couldn't put anything. I'll say I watched the entire Bucs and Panthers game.
I did too.
Game. And what I don't understand is Mike Evans has 2 catches for 34 yards on the first drive. He doesn't get another target the entire game. Like, I don't feel like they are prioritizing their elite skill players and getting the ball down the field at all. Like, I don't understand when I watch the Bucs play. their scheming makes no sense at all. They're not getting anyone involved. They're not getting any rhythm. You got Baker doing twirls in the backfield. I get he's trying to, that's what he does, right? But he's not getting the ball to anybody. And there is so many games this year that I've watched of the Bucs where like they have a lead and then they play like the Falcons game. They play so conservatively when they have a lead, and it doesn't make any sense to me. They have a great team. On paper, they have one of the top teams in the NFL, right? Like I think we can all agree with that. They just do not scheme or coach in any way, shape, or form that would be indicative of that. And I think the Panthers, on the flip side, have one of like the least talented teams in the NFL, and they made the playoffs. And I don't think Bryce Young is elite. I think that they have a really good set of receivers over there. And I love Tet and I love Coker. I think both of them are great. I think Leggett is super talented coming out of South Carolina. He just hasn't put it together really. But I'd rather take the team that's playing with passion than the team that's playing on paper, and that's what the Panthers have done all year. I think we all would have picked the Panthers to be last in the division, and they make the playoffs. And I'm going to be honest with you, while obviously I'm biased, I'd love for the Rams to lose. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for the Rams to lose this game. They have not looked good the last couple weeks, and 2 of their losses have come out of that division, including one to Carolina. I do think the Rams win, obviously, but it wouldn't shock me if somehow Carolina had an upset here.
I agree right there with you. I believe their wide receiver room is, I want to say I read a stat that it's also one of the tallest in the NFL as well.
Probably. They have like 3 receivers that are 6'4". I think Coker's 6'4". I think Ted is like 6'3" or 6'4". I'm going to look it up actually.
Guy, did you already pick you went with Rams, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry. And then, because I was looking at the bracket too, simultaneously.
Yeah, 6'3" for Leggett, 6'3" for Coker, and 6'5" for Tet. They're all giants.
That is crazy. I mean, Tet is right there. I think he hit the 1,000.
He hit 1,000
yards. It's like a franchise record or something. I love that guy so much. I went to the Holiday Bowl, which
he's an Arizona guy, huh? I forgot about that.
Yeah, the guy in front of me was wearing literally a McMillan jersey, and cool. We were talking about that, and he knew. Sean, he kind of reminded me of you, just the way he talked about football and the way. Obviously, the Arizona Wildcats lost in the Holiday Bowl. It was not good. It was not fun to be there. It was
beat.
Yes, 21.
I looked at the score. I shit you not. I was drinking, so I was a little drunk. I opened the ESPN app and I looked at the score and I said, Abby's pissed. And then I went on Instagram and I saw you were there and I was like, oh, she's pissed. I know she's pissed.
It was so bad. And I get it. We had like 3 of our defensive players on the bench because obviously they're going to probably declare for the draft. One of them already did in Genesis Smith. But what does that have to do with the offense? Everyone in the offense was playing.
I think you guys had like 7 points in the third quarter, right?
Yes, not Tua. Sorry, Noah Fafita had his whole entire family there. They threw a tailgate, had like 200 plus people. Half the stadium, including upper level on one side, was all Arizona fans. And
oh wow,
that's what made it more truly embarrassing is all these people traveled to see you. And all for you to fall flat. Now, I do want to really commend the way that they put it together in the second half. I thought it was much better. I knew it wasn't going to be enough to win, but I thought the defense and the offense both made changes right at the half when they needed to. It's just at that point, it was already too far gone, and we couldn't get anything moving. So, I mean, it doesn't take away the great season that they had, but I mean, it was obviously not the way we wanted to end. Extremely disappointing. But anyways, yes, I was talking to the guy in front of me. He was wearing a T-Mac jersey, and we were talking about
my
that.
twin.
Yeah, but he talks about football the way that in the same manner that you do, and it's funny. And I was laughing because I instantly in my head I'm like, this is literally how it is on our show here. So, anyways, all right. So we all picked Rams.
Yeah.
I think okay.
What's the spread in that game? In this game, anybody know? I'm just curious to see what the spread. Oh wow, they're
11 or something.
It's 11. Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy though because I get it's playoff time, but Carolina just beat them like 4 weeks ago or whatever
Mhm.
it was by 3. Like it's kind of like it's kind of crazy to me. Like I said, I understand like it's playoff football and like things are different, but I wouldn't be shocked if Carolina beat them somehow. I mean, that'd be great for me, but
I think I would be shocked because I want to see Bryce Young do it in the playoffs. Like you could do it like in the regular season.
imagine he goes out there and throws for like 450 like he did like 5 weeks ago and like
That'd be
5 touchdowns,
nuts.
and they beat him by like 14 points.
Yeah, I'll take my hat off to him if he could do that. But
And
Carolina's not really a home field advantage either. It's like
no, that's true.
Yeah, and I will say I will secretly be like wanting the Panthers to win. I just don't think they will, and obviously it's simply because of Tet. So
I just realized this game is at Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was in LA the whole time, but then I forgot that the Rams are like pretty much a wild card team. They
Yep.
are a wild card team. I didn't realize that.
yeah,
I
I'll
mean-
tell you right now. I was at I want to say it was the NFC Championship when it was the Panthers and I want to say the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals got mollywopped. But that environment there, that was when Cam Newton was there.
Yeah, it was big
And that
time.
environment was just absolutely incredible. So I'm hoping
Mhm.
that the Panthers fans really show up and support their team, and as long as
Oh,
they have that.
They absolutely will too. I promise you that. That stadium is going to be electric.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun stadium too, and it was freezing cold. I was in like they had to clear out some of the snow, but I was definitely standing in snow at the top there.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to what's the next game, Sean?
Buffalo. Oh no, sorry. Green Bay and Chicago's next.
Okay.
This is what version 3 of this game.
Yes,
This is for the tiebreaker.
it's gonna be a fun one,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in Chicago, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to go Bears on this one. They're playing better and they're the better team. I don't trust Green Bay, at all. I think they look like they regressed a little bit, and to be honest, they've been the biggest beneficiaries of this expanded playoffs. I think they've been the 7th seed every year, or the last couple years. So they're just barely getting in. I think with the strides that Chicago has made, and they're really, showing themselves to be a force in the NFC North. Monsters of the Midway are kind of making a comeback. But yeah, I think the last couple games were close. I think that they win a little bit more convincingly in this game.
Sean?
Yeah, I think that it's the Bears, and I just think that unfortunately the Packers have just suffered way too many injuries. I mean, you lose Micah Parsons, and that's literally the heart of your defense. And it's like, obviously, you want to have the next man up mentality, but like you can't replace Micah Parsons, right? Like it's just not going to happen. And while I think the Bears have been better, they've also lost their last 2 games. So they're still losing games and their defense still blows. But I don't think that like the Packers offense is good enough to like overcome, I think, the deficiencies that they're going to have on defense. They'll probably have to put up like 35 points to win this game. And I just think that going like the Bears being at home is going to be a big deal because it's a playoff home game. And they are going to show out and show up. And I always think the seeding is so weird. Like Bears being the 2 seed, I think like being 11-6 as a 2 seed is kind of crazy, no? I don't know.
There's
Like
been a
the
lot of
Rams are a
parity.
5 seed and the Niners are a 6 seed, and they're both like 12-5, and that's just kind of insane. But yeah, I don't know. I think that both of their games were good, and I think the Bears lost the first game by 7 points, right? It was a touchdown, and it was because Caleb Williams made that crazy interception in the red zone.
Yeah.
So like they even had a chance there. But yeah, I think the Bears, I think we can all agree for record and everything else are the biggest shock of the NFL this year, I would say. I mean, I think Seattle can also be up there too, right? Because a lot of people had Seattle as like the bottom of that division, like probably a 7-win team. But like all of the teams that are in the playoffs this year, like if you go down and look, like Seattle, Panthers, Niners, with the amount of injuries that they have, I mean, Shanahan has done a phenomenal job over there. I'm going to give him his flowers for what they've dealt with all year, from the finish year the way they did, and the Bears. I mean, it's been awesome to watch football this year. There's been a lot of cool teams.
And I'm going with the Bears as well. They're at home, and I mean, they got hot. I know it slowed down a little bit, but I just feel like again, that home field advantage is really going to make a difference for them. And Sean, I think you pointed it out a couple weeks ago when you said, and I completely agreed with you, which is why I'm bringing it up, that Green Bay's defense is not good enough. They're not. I think you said Green Bay is not good enough on both sides of the football to get through the playoffs, and that's just always like stood out for me. And I think you're absolutely right here. So I think we're all so far all in agreement. We got Rams moving on. We got Bears moving on. Mm-hmm. What's the next game, Sean?
It will be Buffalo and Jacksonville.
Oh, man. That's a hard one. And it's in Jacksonville.
I got the Jaguars in this game.
I hate to say it. I do too. And it's because I've watched pretty much every Bills game for the most part. And I know he doesn't have to get through Lamar. He doesn't have to get through Mahomes. And their defense is just, it's not good. And I've just watched so much Josh Allen this year. I don't know what it is with Buffalo, but I don't think they get past the Jags. And I think the Jags are hot right now. They're in a really good spot and home field advantage there too. I think Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own person and own being and finding out who he is and whatnot. And it's as hard. I feel like I pick the Bills every single year to move on. And this year I simply cannot. Would I love it for Josh Allen? It's one of my favorite players in the league. Yes. I just don't think it's happening. So, Guy, I'm with you. I'm going Jags here as well. Sean.
As they say, Duval. I think that the Bills are going to shit slam them. I honestly do. I'm not going to go with y'all. I think Jacksonville, the two hottest teams in the NFL are in that division, Jacksonville and Houston. I think Houston's the better team out of the two. I'm really happy that Trevor Lawrence has found his footing. I think he got really blessed that he kind of inherited Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington. I think Parker Washington is one of the best receivers in the NFL, as far as possession catching and doing what he does. And Lawrence, I think we all knew Lawrence was elite, right? Lawrence was elite at Clemson. He's a winner. He's gutsy. He just had this stretch where he saw the squiggly lines and you didn't think that he could throw a ball when it mattered. And he's come out on fire the last 5 weeks almost. Arguably looks like the best quarterback in the NFL. He won't win MVP, obviously. That's going to go to Drake May or Matthew Stafford. But if he had played like this all year, he would have been the MVP in the NFL. He's looked great. He's making great reads. You got Bashal Tutin and Etienne coming out of that backfield, both really good running backs. You have I'd say a top 5 defense in the league. I don't know where I'd put them, but they're a top 5 defense in the league. It's just hard because the last time that the Jaguars were good, they were up 20-10 against the Patriots and choked that game away. I think Blake Bortles was their quarterback, right? Was that when Blake Bortles was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and UCF guy. But Josh Allen's just a winner, man. He does a lot, and he had the foot injury, but now he's going to have 2 weeks off essentially, right? Because he played 1 snap the last game. So I'm not saying he's fully healthy, but he's probably going to be the healthiest he's been all year. And he gets to play in Florida, right? He's not playing a cold weather game. He's playing a warm weather game. So it's not you have to worry about any of the weather factors unless it rains on Sunday, which it might. It's Florida. But I just think it's like going through Mahomes, right? I'm not comparing Josh Allen to Mahomes. So you don't want to see Josh Allen in the first round of the playoffs. You don't really want to see Mahomes in the first round of the playoffs. So I think it's going to be a really good game.
What's the spread here? Do we have a banner for it?
I don't know what the spread is. I'll tell you right now. Hold on. It's probably like 4 points. No, it's minus 1.5 Buffalo, actually.
Wow.
I just think the Jaguars play good teams better than the Bills do. And their running game is going to be hard to stop. Buffalo
For
has a
the
hard time.
Jaguars?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't,
here's the thing is like you want it to be a high scoring affair if you're Buffalo, right? Like you want to be putting the pressure on them because I think when it comes down to clutch and crunch time, who would you have, Trevor Lawrence or Josh Allen?
I don't know. I've seen Josh Allen mess up in close games before where,
Yeah.
and some of it's not his fault, but I'm just basing it off of like history. Like he's been okay in the clutch in certain games, but I don't know. I think this is a tough matchup for Buffalo. Maybe if they got Pittsburgh, we would be talking a whole different story. But Jacksonville, with that running game, I think they're going to control the time of possession and keep them off the field.
It's going to be a good game. I think this is, to me, by far the best game of all the first round playoff games. Like both of these teams are awesome. And like to Shaq's point, he says, Jags have the best win of the season. I don't think anybody here thinks the Broncos are one of the best teams in the NFL. They have way too many close wins. They're not like some elite team. I think that their fantasy defense was great. Their real life defense is not particularly impressive if you watch their games. I'm saying that as an Oregon Ducks fan, so I'm a huge Bo Nix fan, and I love to see him doing well. And quite frankly, I don't think he was the reason that they lost in the playoffs last year. He had like a 93 QBR. He played well that game. They lost. It just didn't go their way. I don't think that the Jaguars winning in Denver is the best win of the season by any means. I think it was a cool win, and it was cool that they went out there and beat them by 14. But we had been saying for weeks at that point that we think that, Denver's going to come back to reality at some point. They had like 8 games that they won by like 2 points or less or whatever it was. And we'll see next year because I guarantee you that Denver does not finish the year, 13-4 they were, or 12. Yeah, it had to be 13-4.
13-4.
Yeah, they're not going to be 13-4 next year because I guarantee you 2 or 3 of those games fall the other way, and you're automatically going to be 10-9 or 10-9. Jesus, 10-7.
In that first place schedule, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be a big deal. So,
all right. What's the next game? I'm relying on you, Sean.
oh, sorry. Next game is San Fran and Philly. Gabe Davis. And Dan's talking about Gabe Davis. It's funny because at my job, so I sell wine. One of my merchandisers, he's best friends with Gabe Davis's brother. So like I'm involved, like I'm always talking about the family. Like went and got food with them and shit. So like really cool family. And it's cool that Gabe Davis is finally healthy because something that I'm sure not a lot of people know, and I'm not going to try to put his business out there, but last year after his knee injury, he contemplating retiring. So it's cool to see him out there and like balling out and playing well, Shout out to Gabe Davis, man.
All right.
But yeah, San Fran, Philly.
In Philly.
In Philly, yeah.
I'm going to say I got the Niners in this game. I think they go to Philly and just win. I don't remember the last time Philly had a good 4 quarters that they played. So I think 49ers are just a better team. And I think the Eagles are very fortunate to be where they're at, to be honest. They played in a weak division. They have talent, don't get me wrong, but they don't pass the eye test for me at all. And I think especially if like Trent Williams comes back, that's going to be huge for that offense. Philly's defense is legit though. I got to give them that. But I'm saying offensively, I don't know how much I expect them to score in this game. Maybe 20 points, maybe.
This one's a tough one. Spread looks like it's 4.5 right now too.
Yeah, it's 4.5. Over under is like 44, 45. So This is definitely going to be the most interesting game of the week, if I had to say. Not the best game, but definitely the most interesting. I mean, we saw what Seattle just did to San Fran last week, right? Like, I don't think the Eagles have as good of a defense as Seattle, obviously, but like they have a respectable defense. I just think that the Niners have way too many injuries at this point in the season, and unfortunately, Philly is still Philly. They're still the reigning Super Bowl champs. They're still, they have the talent, and it's in Philly. I would love for the Niners to win this game because I think that would be super cool. But I just think it's a lot to overcome with everything that they've had. Trent Williams isn't going to play again this week, most likely. Pearsall is probably going to be out. I don't know. It's just let's see what happens with Kosh. I mean, and honestly, Shanahan, coach, to me, obviously, I would love if Mike McDonald won Coach of the Year, and I think he should just because of what he's done with that Seattle team. But Shanahan should win it because of all the injuries that they had this year and the fact that he just continues to go out there and win games. They were playing for the 1 seed in Week 18. That's like the loser of that game, I mean, the Niners ended up as a 6 seed because the Rams won and then they lost. There's a bunch of nuances, but like the fact that they went out there and they were playing for the 1 seed in Week 18 with all of the injuries they had, that Purdy out for 8 weeks or something like that. You have Mac Jones coming and go like 6-2. They've had like a really like good story this year, and the Niners are good away. They're like 7-2 away this year, 6-3, whatever they are. But it's just tough this late in the season with the amount of injuries they have, and you're playing against a relatively healthy Philadelphia team. And I think they're frauds, right? Like I don't think that Philly wins the Super Bowl this year, but like this game is probably going to be like a 1-score game, but it's going to look like a 10-score game, and it's going to be really frustrating because both of these teams aren't going to be able to really move the ball. And if they do, it's going to be on Philly's side where they're going to put up a ton of points because the Niners defense is trash.
So are you picking Philly?
Yeah. Sorry, I could talk about like the ins and outs. This is like one of those games, like the ins and outs are super cool just because like there's so much to look at. Like you obviously look at the Niners on paper, right? And they have like an elite offense. Purdy was great 2 weeks prior to playing Seattle. He had like 2 5-touchdown games. McCaffrey's been great all year, avoided injury all year. I said if McCaffrey would have got 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards this year, he should have been MVP. But he didn't get it, obviously, so we won't have that discussion. But it's just like Kittle's been banged up. Tongs is serviceable when he replaces him, but like your receivers are super lackluster. Like you have Juwan Jennings, but then like you have Demarcus Robinson. Like, but their defense is just so bad that it's hard to have like any belief in the Niners. Like I get that they've won a lot of games this year, but they won a lot of games because they could put points on the board because their offense is so good. And that just doesn't really work when you're in the playoffs against like the best of the best, right? Like you're not going out there and putting up 42 points on the Bears. And I know the Bears are in the playoffs, right? But like you're not going out there and putting up 42 points on the Bears. And like that's like a recipe for success, because the Bears are horrible on defense as well. The Eagles are good on defense, right? Like they have a ton of good players. They've just dealt with a lot of injuries this year, and I think they're actually healthy now. And if they could just figure out how to hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley and say, hey, here's the football, I think that they're going to win this game quite easily.
And I'm going to go Eagles this one for no reason. I would love to see the Niners there. Purdy's an Arizona kid. He didn't go to U of A, but he's from Arizona. I would love to see that happen. I just think the Eagles, again, and Sean, you pointed out, they're still the Super Bowl champions. I don't think they're going to win it again this year, but I think that home field advantage there too. So I'm going Eagles. All right. Next game. Do we have Chargers, Pats, or Houston Steelers?
Next game is the Chargers and the Pats.
Chargers and Patriots. Guy.
This one I had trouble with, but I'm going to slightly lean towards the Patriots in this game just because they're the home team. This is where I think home field advantage matters. I wouldn't be shocked if the Chargers win, if they play a clean game, but I can't go against the Patriots in New England. Having the Chargers go across country, I don't know how the weather is going to be on Sunday up there in Boston or Foxborough, but it's going to be a tough ask for them. I know Jim Harbaugh is great. He's going to have his guys ready to play, but I think it's just a tough matchup.
I think right now the spread is New England by like 3.5 too. So, and Guy, I'm with you right there too. I went back and forth with this one, but I went ahead. As it pains me to say this, I went ahead and picked the Patriots as well. I've just watched a lot of, again, way more Patriots games than I probably have wanted to, and let me ask Guy really quickly. In terms of like I don't know if you're this way, but do you want to see like the AFC East teams do well?
Not at all.
Okay. See, and some people are different. And like me, so for me, for example, it's not necessarily with NFL, but like NCAA, I'm sometimes like, okay, let's have the Big 12 do well. But I was also like overjoyed that Arizona State lost to Duke in the Frosted Flakes Bowl, Sun Bowl, or whatever it was. But it was also, I appreciated the fact that it was like a good game, so, but you don't want them to you don't care about the AFC East.
Not at all.
You don't care like an AFC East team went to the Super Bowl.
No, we're bitter rivals out here, so being in close proximity with the Jets fans and a lot of Patriots fans and increasingly Bills fans, nah. I hope they all lose.
Well, and I see, and some people are like, they'll always go for one conference over the other simply because, my team's in the NFC, so I'm going to pick the NFC, whoever goes, So, Sean, are you like that?
No, I mean, you've heard me talk about like the Rams and the Niners, right? Like I love the game, right? Like I'm a huge Seattle fan and I love the Seahawks, but like I respect football and the game of football so much. Like I just like to see teams be successful with like formulas that don't make sense, right? Like Shanahan being successful this year with the Niners, super cool to me. Like I like seeing stuff like that. Now, do I want them to win? No, but like if the Niners or the Rams won, that means that we just play in a really good division, right? Like we have a really good team in our division, and it's not like I'm going and cheering for them. Like if we get knocked out, I'm not going to go be a Niners or a Rams fan, but I just want to see good. I just want to see good football played, and I want to see like teams doing well that like you wouldn't expect or have like the super cool underdog stories. Like my love for football expands beyond my fandom for my one team.
Right. And I can get like that with NCAA basketball. Like if we lose to somebody, I'm like, and if they go to the championship game, I'm like, okay, we lost to arguably one of the best two teams. And I guess that gives me a little bit of consolidation. Guys over here looking at me laughing.
I think I'm just a product of the Northeast because like we're very like us versus them in general. So like when it comes to sports teams, we're like, no, F you guys. I'm not rooting for you for anything. We could respect the other team, of course. But like when it comes to like our rivals in the big game, no.
The Northeast is crazy. That was my first ever football game, was a Philly game, and it was like, fuck your mother, like down the street. And I'm like, yo, what is going on? The guy's wearing a jersey and it's fuck his mom. Like, what are we doing here, bro? They do not care up north.
It's wild, bro.
Yeah, it's a whole different beast up there. I'm like, good God, there's hatred up here.
No, and what's funny is I didn't end up like posting it because I was like, sometimes I like to have a little fun with trolls on Instagram. Okay, this guy went on a whole thing, like 20 DMs from him, just
to you, DM'd you?
Yes.
Oh God.
He was saying that I'm a fake fan and I'm not a New Yorker. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm not a New Yorker. I'm not born there. I'm born in Arizona. So by default, he called me a fake fan and told me I'm only a New York Jets fan for content and to get money. And and then he called, and then he hits below the belt, which I started laughing. I have apparently old lady nails and
oh, sure.
He just went on a whole thing, and I was like, I finally ended up blocking him, but I rage baited him a couple of times. I'm like,
okay, I love rage baiting.
Sounds good, and I'm like, thumbs up. But I was like, he's like, you're just not a New Yorker. and you want to claim it. And I'm like, ain't the only team I've claimed from New York is the New York Jets. Otherwise, he told me, he's like, I exposed you. And then he commented on one of my videos that I'm not a true New Yorker. And I'm like, boy, how long have you been here? Because everybody knows. Everybody
I don't think
knows.
anyone wants to be a Jets fan for fun anyway. So
Literally,
Yeah.
that's how poverty this franchise is. How do you
holy smokes.
bandwagon and like be a fake fan of a team that blows complete ass? They suck.
Oh, yeah.
I would have picked them. I had 31 other teams to choose from. And even the Cardinals might, well, maybe not this year, but they may have even been a better choice at this point.
They were at least fun to watch this year.
Yeah.
Right. At least they're scoring points.
Yeah.
See touchdowns, but
They got an interception.
They got an interception.
I'm only talking about that because we were talking about the hatred in New York, and that's how it really be. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right now, come down to the Southwest, and that's why you go to California, and I'm like, no one gives a shit about you. No one, like, that's a Northeast New York thing, and that's where that, like, sometimes that
It's
division.
from like Boston. It's like from Massachusetts up. Like once you get like to Patriots fans, it's just like pure hate. Like it's bad.
Yeah. It's a Philly, from Philly all the way up to Boston is just this like, you know, Bermuda Triangle of hate.
I'll tell you right now, I will not ever fly into the Philly airport again. I've had two of the worst flights. That airport sucks. And then my first time ever, I thought it was the city of brotherly love. I asked someone a question. She's like, I don't know. You work here. What do you mean you don't know? It's your job to know. And I was like, all right, fine. Find it myself. But
I think Shaq is guy's alt account over here.
I'm a New Yorker, born and raised, and the only tri-state area teams are the Yankees, Jets, and Devils in terms of 4 major sports, and hate Boston sports. Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, and I don't like Boston fans, honestly. Any Boston team, Celtics fans, Bruins fans, Patriots fans, they're all just obnoxious. Like, it's like, cool, like you guys have been good and then you were complete dog shit, but like it's even when they're dog shit, they're like, oh well, how many rings do you have? And it's like, bro, how many do you have in the last 2 years, 3 years since Brady left? None. You guys have been like 4-27 like the last 5 years.
And I've said it plenty of times. I don't like Raiders fans. I don't like Niners fans. I don't like Steelers fans. I don't
There's
like
Raiders fans.
My whole family. Jeez.
Were you adopted?
Pretty much my whole family. I
gotta get rid of them. You need a new family.
Even when I got greeted, they're like Raiders, and I'm like, you guys suck worse than us. I don't want to hear it about the Jets right now coming from you.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Yeah, and that stadium is. That's what I'm saying. We broke.
There's levels to that.
Still worse.
There's levels to being bad. Holy.
But again, it's just that obnoxiousness. I'm like, get out of here.
It's just because they used to be good. So like any fan base that used to be good or have any level of success just doesn't shut the fuck up about when they were good. They're like, well, how about this time? And it's like, well, how about right now? Like, what do you want to argue with me for? You have the number 1 pick in the draft. What are we talking about here? Cool. Like, no one gives a shit about you guys. What's your game attendance look like? Like, what are we? What?
Yeah, but the guy started because I didn't realize he was replying to my stories, and they go to like my requests. But he's like, Arizona, what the fuck? And then I post some Suns content. He's like, you should be going for the Knicks, and I'm like, what have the Phoenix Suns done to you, sir? They have not won a championship ever. Let us have this moment because they're doing a lot better than we thought they were.
Yeah, Raiders fans too. Is like Shaq says, like. I mean, to be fair, I think everyone had like some expectations for the Raiders this year, right? Like you go get Pete Carroll, you go get Geno Smith, you draft Genty, you have Brock Bowers, you got Max Crosby. So you have like names, but I don't think anybody in their right mind would have been like, you know what? I'm gonna pencil the Raiders in that division of all divisions. Like you have one of the hardest divisions in the NFL. It doesn't get, I don't know. There's something.
Sorry, I got us off on a tangent here, but we were talking about the Chargers and the Patriots. Guy, you picked the Patriots.
Yep.
I I picked the Patriots. Are you gonna make it 3 for 3, Sean?
No, I'm gonna pick the Chargers, and I genuinely think the Chargers win. I know, like Shaq's saying, the Patriots win easily. Chargers offensive line has been depleted for 10 weeks at this point now, and they continue to win games. I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. Go Ducks. You got Amarian Hampton back and healthy, like really healthy now. The defense is serviceable enough, and frankly, I hope the Patriots win simply for the fact that they can beat, because they've had a cupcake schedule this year, right? Like their schedule has been the fourth easiest schedule in NFL history or something like that, as far as like win percentages go. And I know it's in Foxborough, right? That's always a tough game, but that team is a lot of rookies. And I know Vrabel is a fantastic head coach. He's also another guy that could be coach of the year, right? It's just hard for me to believe in a team that had such an easy schedule. And if I'm not wrong, they're like two of their losses, they lost to the Raiders week 1, right? Like that was a crazy loss, but their other 2 losses are to playoff teams. And they beat the Bills by 3. They beat the shit out of the Panthers. Like the rest of their schedule is not like, if you actually go look at it, they've only played playoff teams like 4 times, and they lost 2 of them. And they're in a cupcake division too. Like that division's dog shit as well. So it would be cool if they did win that game, just because their team, there are a lot of young kids. I like what Drake May did this year. I hate the narrative that he's like throwing to plumbers and like somehow Stephon Diggs isn't like a good receiver all of a sudden. And, Mac wasn't like a good receiver on Buffalo when he was over there. And, Kayshon Boutte hasn't been great. It's just like those narratives that people push to like out like the realistic statistics of the team are just odd to me. Well, Matt Stafford should win it because he's throwing to Puka and Devontae. Well, Devontae's been injured for like 4 weeks, and Puka's obviously one of the best receivers in the league. But like Stephon Diggs is still not – he might not be elite to the level that Puka is, but he's still a good receiver, right? Like he's 32 or whatever, sure. But no one – like if anybody here could have Stephon Diggs on their team, I think we would all be like, sure, let's sign him,
Catching balls and catching cases.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely something. Not Antonio Brown bad, but he's pretty bad. But I don't know. I just think the Chargers are gritty. Harbaugh, he's playing for something now too. His brother just got fired. He's probably fired up. I'm sure. I don't know how close they are, but I'm sure they're close. And that team has just been gritty all year. I think when Joe Alt went down and Rashawn Slater went down, everyone said they have no chance to do anything, and they kept winning games. They kept pushing teams to the edge. And yeah, the last 2 games they've lost, but I don't think they cared the last game of the season. And that's going to be a fun game. That'll be a fun game, but I do think that the Chargers win by 3.
All right. And then that leaves us with the last game in the AFC. We got Houston
and Pittsburgh.
Is it in Houston, I assume?
It's in Pittsburgh.
No, Pittsburgh.
No,
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh won the division and Houston.
That's correct.
Yeah, I got the Texans in this one.
I do too.
Yeah, I think the Texans make the Super Bowl, quite frankly.
Did.
I think you guys have been a witness to it. I've been talking up the Texans for how many weeks now? I said they have one of the best teams in the league. And I said the second that the Colts started spiraling, I said they're going to make the playoffs, and they did. I think they have the second best defense in the NFL. Their offense leaves something to be desired. They have really cool receivers and like Higgins and Nico. I just don't think Stroud to me just doesn't utilize his receivers. It's like what Baker's done the last couple of weeks, where it's like Nico's on the field, but like you're not throwing to Nico Collins at all. And it's like it's probably a top 10 receiver in the league. It's just a little odd to me. And it's cool for the Texans too, because like they obviously had a superstar in Joe Mixon, right? And he got hurt and hasn't played the whole year, so you're like running like Woody Marks and Nick Chubb in 2026. By the way, who expected that? But Houston to me is the best team in the AFC right now. I know that the Jaguars are there too, but Houston's on a 9-game win streak. Jacksonville's on an 8-game win streak. Both of those teams are hot as could be. Jacksonville's last game they lost was to Houston 9 weeks ago. And both of these teams have been on fire. But I think that Houston, they're not going to beat the brakes off of anybody just because their offense doesn't put up that many points, but they're going to probably shut out the Steelers. And again, Houston's my favorite out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl.
All righty. We're going to skip the divisional round because we're going to talk about that next week. Well, technically, you two will talk about it next week.
Yeah, you're not here.
But let's just skip forward to the conference championships and who we think will be in it. So let's start NFC. Sean, we'll start with you.
I mean, I think Seattle
almost
certainly is in the championship, and the Rams win up. It's crazy because if the Rams, Eagles, and Bears all win, we play the Rams again. So part of me actually wants the Packers to win simply because that would be a cakewalk for us. I think it'd be awesome. But I think that we'll play the Rams next week. We'll beat them. And then I think we play the Eagles in the championship game. I do. It'll be us against the Eagles in Seattle. And that'd be really cool. And I think that we have the defensive tools to shut down that offense. And I think if we could put up like 21 points, we should easily be able to beat the Eagles just on offense, because our defense can definitely put up points as well. And our special teams. We have one of the best special teams in the NFL with Shaheed.
All right. And before I go to Guy, Sean, let's just kill the bird now. I'm assuming you have Seattle winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I have Seattle against Houston, and I have us beating Houston in the Super Bowl. Seattle is 10-2 or some weird stat in Santa Clara specifically. Like McDonald hasn't. It's not 10-2 because McDonald hasn't been around long, but like McDonald is like undefeated in Santa Clara or something, and the Super Bowl is in Santa Clara, so that's really cool as well. So we have home field advantage again.
All right.
Not really, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Guy, NFC first.
In the NFC, I have Seattle playing the Rams. Just because I think that the Niners are winning that game. So I think they do play in the conference.
You have the Niners being the Eagles.
Yeah. So I think
the Rams, I thought you picked the Eagles. I was like, that's not possible if the Niners lose, but
yeah. In that scenario, I think the Rams play the Seattle, and that's where it gets hard because I think it'll come down to one possession with the Eagles and the Seahawks and Rams, just like that thriller that they played a few weeks ago. You know
the stat, the Seattle and Rams, it's -1 for the Rams. Both of the games were by 2 points, or a point and 2 points.
Wow.
Yeah. We lost 21-19 with Darnold throwing 4 picks, and then we won 38-37.
That's amazing, right? Like, and that's how close those two teams are.
Mm-hmm.
And the determining factor for me in that would be which quarterback do I trust more, and I lean towards Matthew Stafford. I think he'll just find a way to figure it out. But I think that's gonna, if those two teams match up in the NFC title game, that might be better than the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that'll be the price of admission and everything. But so I have the Rams going to the Super Bowl in the NFC, and believe it or not, I'm with Sean. I think Houston comes out of the AFC. They beat the Broncos in the AFC Championship.
Interesting. All right. Now I have Rams facing the Eagles and Rams coming out of there and heading to the Super Bowl. Now, in terms of the AFC, trust me, I was leaning to Houston, but I think now I'm just I went a little bit with my heart a little bit and more like, my stepdad's team, whatever. So I ended up putting the Broncos in the Super Bowl there, but I do have the Broncos and Houston facing each other. Now, Guy, do you have a winner?
Yeah, I think the Rams win the Super Bowl this year.
All righty. Sean and Shauna Seahawks. I don't have a winner yet. If I had to go off just looking at this real quick, I'd probably go Rams too, honestly. I just don't trust that the Broncos again, Guy, you've said it and it stays in my mind too. The Broncos playing down to their opponents. And I think their luck is going to run out at some point.
Yeah, that's not sustainable. And in the playoffs where things are magnified, like those margins are even finer. So like if you're skating by, in the AFC, it's a crapshoot, really. If you look at it, there's not much separating the top and the bottom. So, any one of those teams in the AFC could theoretically make it to the Super Bowl. It's about getting hot and avoiding major injury.
I mean, if I did have it in my little just looking at the teams, I'd probably be in my little imaginary world, it would be Bears and Bills to me, quite frankly. But I'm not saying that's not realistic because it could happen.
That'd be the highest scoring Super Bowl I've ever seen in my life. Like 55 to 52 is the winner.
You know what's crazy? In a different scenario, I kind of had Seattle versus Jacksonville in the Super Bowl, but that things have to fall right there. But I think the sure thing is you got to go what's there, right? Because the Rams, to me, turn it up. That they're one of the teams that have a switch, and for whatever reason, they might look like shit at one point, but that's a team that I look for to raise the level of their play.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we have a visitor here.
I know, Sean.
It's getting rowdy.
What's your dog's name?
Cleo.
Let's see your pretty face, girl. She's like, please put me down.
Say hi, everyone.
I know my dog over here, anytime I'm talking is when he wants to drink the most amount of water and I'm right next to his water bowl. I'm like, literally drink water any other time. I'm not here for 8 hours a day. But I swear the dog, he waits till I get home to drink water.
She won't eat or drink until me or my fiance are home. She won't eat or drink at all.
Eating that dog. I mean, I don't know how your dog is. If you can leave food out, mine, 1 scoop in the morning, 1 scoop in the evening, and it's done within 30 seconds.
No, this dog is 4 times a day, 1 scoop.
Oh, and I actually caught him. I was outside with a sparkler for New Year's Eve, and when it hit midnight, I came back inside. I'm like, he's not near the door. He had his head down the bag of food and was eating. And we were like, gotcha.
Oh, my mom wasn't smart enough to put this away.
Jeez, man. Troublemaker. All right. Well, we got our picks locked in. Let's go to another playoff in the college football playoff. Man, oh man. Guy, I know this is probably what you're most excited to talk about. So Guy,
my team's in too.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. The Oregon, I forgot. And mine, I'm just looking for which quarterback. Hopefully, I'm hoping Dante Moore declares for the draft. The Jets really need him to.
Well, someone put in perspective too. I was talking he isn't a player manager, but he's friends with a player manager, and he's Dante Moore is almost certainly going to declare because it's a difference between $49 million guaranteed and $14 million guaranteed. He's 49 and 14 is generational money, but 49 is really generational money, that's what the average contract is for a top 2 pick is $49 million guaranteed.
And one of the beat writers for the Jets was actually just talking about this and Dante Moore and all of that. And it's the number 2 pick is guaranteed X million dollars. There's no, he was getting sick of that narrative. And again, Stephen A. Smith went on a whole thing today about the ones that come to the Jets and blah, 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 and
well, it's the Jets are one of the more desirable spots for a rookie quarterback, unironically enough. You have a couple First off, you have 2 picks in the first round. I don't know if you're going to use 16 or whatever it is for a receiver, or if you're going to use it for like a corner or something. But like,
And we have the 33rd pick. I think
you
that's
have
a big
yeah.
that's a big pick too, because you're gonna kind of get the leftovers from like
And then if Brees
round.
resigns, you have
Mhm.
Brees. Got
you have a good
Garrett.
O line.
You got a really good O line with 2 young like anchors at a guard for you guys, or tackle whatever Armand Membu and the guy on the other side. But I can't remember his name. But
Fashanu.
yeah, Fashanu. He's out of UCLA, right?
No.
Where did he come out of?
Why am I blanking?
Oh,
Membu's Missouri. Fashanu.
I don't forget. Oh, Gonzaga. What the heck?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of the. Yeah, it's like Gonzaga.
We're over here like. No, Penn State.
Why did it say Gonzaga? What the freak? I gotta update that. Oh, it says Gonzaga High School. Oh, I see. But yeah, I really like the prospect of, because I'm an Oregon fan. Like, I think Dante Moore definitely has things he can work on, but like, he's serviceable by all means. He's mobile. He can throw the ball down the field, and you guys have like the baseline that you need for like a rookie not to completely come in and fail and get lit up, you know?
Guy doesn't seem like he agrees, but go off, Guy.
Yeah, I mean, if we have history to show us anything, is that the Jets don't develop quarterbacks out of the draft. And that's not a dig, that's just real. You know, like, for whatever reason, they've had high picks before and they never work out. They start to play better once they leave, you know. So I actually hope that for his sake, he goes to a better situation. Unless, because I don't see the Jets developing a quarterback with Aaron Glenn unless they make a good hire on the offensive side that could help on that. But it's a pressure to be a Jets quarterback because of all the years of, you know, ineptitude. It's just hard to get out of that, you know, and hopefully they give him the patience and grace that he deserves, because they're very impatient up here, you know. And if you don't see immediate results, like, you know, are they going to start like turning on him soon? Like, they got to give him the necessary environment to grow, you know, not just the players around him, but the mindset and the growth environment that it needs for a rookie quarterback to thrive.
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the day, the Jets are still going to need a veteran quarterback there. And I'm hoping that whoever we draft has the opportunity to sit and observe and have that veteran quarterback maybe take over for a little. And that'll help that kind of developmental part of it all. But yes, I'm with you. Look at Sam Darnold now. Was with us. We obviously didn't surround him with very good pieces. Took a couple of years and a couple of pit stops, and now you're in the playoffs and first round bye and hoping to potentially gonna go to the Super Bowl. And I would love that for him. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just, I do get though the pressure. It has to be the right fit here. Cause its culture is not an easy one. And you know, I've felt for almost Aaron Glenn a couple of weeks because people are getting mad about what he's saying, but what are you gonna go up there and say? What do you want him to say? That's nothing is ever going to be sufficient. And you know, he doesn't have answers. And they even had like that season press conference that they didn't even stream live. And then I'm just starting to see like clips from, and they have this goal and its plan, but what is it? But I don't know what it is. And they just keep saying we have draft and we have money and we have this plan. Yeah, but what is the plan? What are the steps in the plan?
It's a new sideline dance.
Mm-hmm. So all I can do is hope that they turn it around. But the Jets are set back another at least 2 or 3 years. They're at least 2 or 3 years from being competitive and even sniffing playoffs, to be honest. So that's a story for another day. Yes. All right. So let's get into our next topic. Let's talk about the Rants. Let's talk about the Rants. So let's talk about the Rants. So the Rants are a team that has been kind of can't like
Keep the streak alive.
might as well at this point. It's gonna be a miracle. Some bad's gonna happen, and then they're gonna get an interception. I don't want to say it, but Namath may fall over, and that's the day you get an interception.
They'll get an interception when next year you guys are playing for the 1 pick, and then instead you win the game off a pick 6 for your first interception in 34 weeks to lose the number 1 pick and drop to 5.
Yeah, doing the New York Giants.
It's true New York Giants. I was listening to his name's Bengal on YouTube. He does like a bunch of mock drafts and stuff, and he's like a big Giants fan, right? Like he loves the New York Giants, and he's like, the Giants are like the kings of fucking up their own franchise. Like they literally will win. Like they could have had the number 2 pick. They have their franchise quarterback. They could have traded that for, another first-round pick or a first-round pick this year and to build off of it. And he's like, instead, what do they want to do? Go win meaningless fucking, like just going on this big rant of like how they win meaningless games, and like he's doing this mock draft, and like I was reading the comments, and like 19 minutes in, this guy's, I already knew when minute 19 hit, this was going to be a banger video, because he goes off for like 8 minutes about how they just like to fuck their own franchise up. And I'm like, they do really do that to themselves. So it's actually incredible.
All right, let's get back into this called the college football playoffs. Which game do you want to start with? Well, let's start with the Thursday game.
Well, yeah, the Ole Miss Miami game is
Ole
the first
Miss Miami Fiesta Bowl, which is here in the Valley. Surprisingly, it's a big
that one?
No, I'm not gonna. What time is that even at? 7:30.
I just want to know who you were cheering for, so I could bet against them.
Oh, let me see. Honestly, I'm probably going for Miami at this point. That defense is filthy. Holy shit.
I tried telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami's defense is absolutely disgusting. Oh my God, bro.
They're suffocating. If you watch them play, they're literally suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Trinidad Chamblis, or whatever his name is, he can move the pocket at least. So that will be cool. And I think it's super cool that Ole Miss made it this far with all the Lane Kiffin. I mean, we had this conversation about like them, should they even be in? These are 2 teams that like we were like, oh, if we want to go by like statistics and the rules, neither of these teams should really get in based on what happened at FSU when they lost their quarterback. And so I think it's really cool that these 2 teams are not only in but playing each other. Because I didn't think Miami should have been in. I thought Notre Dame should have got in, right? But watching Miami play Ohio State, I'm like, damn, that defense is actually super good.
And I think Chambliss is already committed going back to Ole Miss. You should have seen Jets fans. Oh, we should take a swing on him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like the 4th round. Yeah, sure. Fuck. That's like I'm telling you what, someone's going to draft Ty Simpson mega high, and it's just gonna be a wasted pick. Like if you watch Ty Simpson play football, you're like, okay, that's like you watch the Ohio State game. Like Julian Sand does not look like a good quarterback.
No.
Like, I do not understand. Like he has Jeremiah Smith, a truly generational receiver. He might go down as one of the best receivers to come out of the draft in many, many years. And that Ohio State room alone, I mean, you got JSN, Garrett Wilson. There's a couple other guys I'm going to miss off the top of my head, but like truly elite players. And then Carnell Tate, who's also not generational, but extremely, extremely good. And he still looks mediocre. I'm like, that's like, to me, should have been like, that offense should look like the LSU offense did when Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson were there. They should be putting up 60 points a game.
100%.
Guy, you're going with Miami on this one, right?
Yeah, of course. I think just defensively, I trust Carson Beck too. I think he's a little under the radar. If he can play a clean game with that defense, I mean, there's no telling. Like they might end up pulling this off, like winning this whole thing. And I thought they always should have been in, because I think because they came out of the ACC, they had a stigma about them. But all that, I think gave them a chip on their shoulder. And now they've been out here improving it, which, kudos to them. Sometimes things like that happen and they've risen to the occasion. Um, I didn't think they were going to beat Ohio State like they did. Of course, I thought they were capable of winning, but the way that they won was just very impressive to me. And that's why I think like they should be able to take care of Ole Miss. But I do like Ole Miss too, like how they showed their character in their game by coming back and being Georgia, says a lot about them too. Both teams are battle tested, and I think that that's going to be a very fun game. But I think the U pulls it out at the end.
And Sean, did we get your pick?
No, I actually think Ole Miss wins this game. And, Guy, I love you, but I just don't think Miami's going to be able to score enough points to keep up with Ole Miss is my thing. And I know Miami's defense is elite, right? Like I know they're really good, but like Georgia has a really good defense and they put up 39 on them. Ole Miss is 13-1. Like their only loss this year was by 8 to Georgia in like the middle of the season. And they haven't had a hard schedule by any means, but like they put up a lot of points week in and week out. Put up 41 against Tulane, 39 against Georgia. And if I'm being realistic, if they put 30 points up against y'all, I just don't see how you guys beat them because I don't see you putting up 31 points. I think this game would have to be in the over-under on this game is 52. So that's like them insinuating that you guys would put up 30 and they'd put up 20, right? And I just don't see that with how – like I think Carson Beck is great, right? He's was great at Georgia. He's been around a long time. He's a veteran, essentially. He's like on his 6th year or something, like his 9th year with the COVID years and shit. But Ole Miss is just going to probably put up a lot of points, and I don't trust Miami's offense enough to keep up with them points-wise. That's what it comes down to.
All right. Well, I think we all think it's probably – do we all agree that it's going to be – because the over-under, are we all thinking it's going to be like a shootout here?
I don't know if it's a shootout. I just don't want to like disrespect Miami and say they lose by 14 points, but I just don't see them putting up over like 23 points, 24 points. So I guess if that's like the case, the over does hit anyways, right? If Ole Miss wins, but would that be considered a shootout nowadays in college, like 24-28 or something?
Not really.
No.
I just think it's going to be like a 30-24 loss, It's just going to be – I wouldn't consider a shootout, but it's going to be higher scoring for sure than 10-3 that Miami beat Texas A&M or, 24-14 that, Miami beat Ohio State by.
Yeah. All right. And then we'll move on to the next game. Friday, Peach Bowl, Oregon, Indiana. Sean?
I mean, I got Oregon, obviously. I'm an Oregon fan, though. Our only loss this year was to Indiana by 10. And frankly, that was just a really bad game by Dante Moore. He had like under 200 pass yards, 2 picks. Like it just wasn't a very good game. And I really think that this game is going to decide who's the number 1 overall pick. I don't know. I think whoever wins this game, whichever quarterback wins this game, probably goes number 1 overall. But Indiana's looked fantastic the last couple weeks. I mean, I was expecting to beat Bama, but to put up 38 on Bama and for them to only put up 3 points, like that's good, like that's really good. But like we also just shut out Texas Tech. Put up 23 to their 0, and like our offense didn't get on the board until like the 3rd quarter, but that's still like a big win for like a Texas Tech team that has consistently stomped teams this year. But I think that this game would probably be decided by a touchdown. I think like the odds have it like as like Oregon having like a 5% chance or 25% chance to win this game. Or 28% chance, which is crazy to me because their only loss was to this team by 10 points and it was like they scored 7 at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure. So like it wasn't really like a 10-point loss. Like it looks worse on paper kind of loss, you know. But this is gonna be a good game. But I got Oregon by 7.
Guy.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, I hate to do it, man, but I think Indiana is I don't want to say like they're a team of destiny, man, but they have been
A
to me
juggernaut.
like this juggernaut buzzsaw that's just mowing down teams, especially
You know they
like
also have 0 5-star recruits on their team.
yeah, that's
0
crazy.
5-stars on their entire team.
Yeah, and this is like a basketball school anyway, right? So like they're just blazing trails right now. It's starting a whole new era of football in Indiana. So I think Mendoza becomes the first pick anyway, but this is the time where I think he sees the competition between the two and he takes his game a little personal and he tries to separate himself from more a little bit. And I think it's going to be a fun game nevertheless. Like Oregon does have a chance in this game. I'm not going to say like they have 25% chance, but they have a puncher's chance, especially if they impose their style of play. But they lost by 10 earlier in the year. At least they know what to expect this time. So maybe that's the advantage of having that early loss is like what adjustments to make in this game. So I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon actually starts the game off pretty well. And then we see the chess match coming. But I think Indiana guts this one out.
And I hate to do this. I'm right there with you, Guy. But Sean, I'm in agreement with you. I think this is going to do a lot of telling in terms of who's going to be the number 1 draft pick. And this is going to be a fun one. And I'll say too, I love Kurt Signetti. He's just a funny guy.
He's done a great job at this program too.
Right,
he has
exactly.
done a complete 180 here and turned a team that, quite frankly, a school that nobody would ever consider a top team into an absolute animal. And they're like dominating teams, And it's also crazy to say, like, I think we could also say we could see like Oregon being in like the top 4, like from a football point of view. But this is such a cool like top 4 teams, like Indiana, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Miami. Like we're gonna have no Ohio States, no Georgias, no Alabamas. I think that's super cool for like to like see a change of pace from like because we're gonna end up having like Ole Miss and Miami versus Oregon or Indiana. Like I don't think anyone would have picked that at the start of the year, looking at everything.
I was just so happy when Ohio State lost.
Oh yeah, I think I popped the game. I popped it on ESPN like on the app because I forgot what I was doing at the time, and it was like 14-0, and I'm like, oh, it was like I was at a New Year's Eve party. I was like, it's 14-0. Miami's winning. I'm like, okay, and then I looked and it was like 17-14. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what they're gonna do, and then they scored again and shut the game down. But I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, that pick 6 was great in that game. And then and then I saw him throw up the deuces right before it in the end zone. Swaggy. Is it? Who's the one? Why am I blanking on his name? Is it Irvin? The one with the
Yes, the belt.
I'm getting annoyed with it. I'll say that much. It was funny the first time, but the second time, stop it.
Well, let's just say he has some influence there. It's I don't know if he's sober doing that, but he's crazy as hell.
Oh, I know. He's always been that way, but I'm just like, okay, like I said, it was funny the first time. This last time I was like,
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do if they win.
Take his pants off.
Oh, please don't.
They're going to be throwing hot dogs out there. Wieners out, boys.
That is hilarious.
No, but isn't it kind of like a win for college football to piggyback off of Sean that we have like these new teams and it's kind of a little bit refreshing. That's like, it's not the same old teams as always, even if, even the when they were in their heyday, they brought like college football to the mainstream back in the 80s and early 90s, and all these new great stories with Indiana, Oregon, and Ole Miss. Like, this is something that's positive from a rather transfer portal souring the game a little bit. At the very least, we have these new teams, and we can get excited a little bit for this.
Yeah. No, and I don't have any teams obviously that I even favor at all here. I don't have any stake in the matter, but even I'm excited genuinely just to not see the same old, again, Alabama. I would even throw again, just those same old SEC teams that we always see.
Yep.
And that's kind of also why the college football playoff was designed to be just a little bit. So you could have the opportunity to have different teams. I wanted to get your guys' take. Did you see that Washington commit wanting to enter the transfer portal?
Yeah, and they said no, right?
Yeah, they already signed a contract, and now they're going to probably sue him. And I was like, and this is exactly why college football has become what it is.
Well, it's because none of these kids have agents at all. Like, there's no legal agents for these kids. It's all these people that are just reading contracts from them and saying, yeah, sure, sign it. Which is really, that's going to become a problem. It's going to have to turn into something a little more professional because these kids are going to get in financial trouble and they're going to get in legal trouble, not realizing the nuances of contracts, which is what a sports agent is for. So that'll probably, which will also cut into the profits of what the kids are making. It's going to be a whole thing. I can see that being a thing probably in like 2 or 3 years, though, for sure.
Well, I know we missed out on a lot within the last 2 weeks, but I want to briefly just touch on kind of in general how all our teams are doing. Guy, I saw right now the Spurs are up at the half against the Lakers, I believe.
Yep.
How are you feeling about NBA so far?
I think we're right on schedule, to be honest. I think it's great. We have a young core. It's very similar to like how the Thunder are being built and ran. And that's how the game's currently constructed. I think that's the most successful way of sustaining, excellence with a defensive mindset too. I don't think teams really buy into defense like Oklahoma City and San Antonio, especially at all the positions. But I like where we're at. We're second in the West. Wemby's still coming off the bench. It's good because there's going to be a time where he's unleashed. But I'm more excited, honestly, about the guards. The guard play has been excellent. And we have like 3 legit point guards that could attack off the dribble, play defense, and space the floor. So, like, it's almost positionless in a sense where we could rotate guys and put them in different spots with Wemby being the anchor. It's just, development. We're probably where the Thunder were last year. I mean, the year before last, where they won. They were first in the West, but they lost, I think, in the second round. But you saw the promise there. And, I think next year is where they take even a bigger step. But this year is all about learning how to win as a unit and, getting some playoff experience under your belt.
Sean, you're obviously feeling good about your NFL team.
Not basketball, though.
I know. I was going to ask. And I had to put in the group chat. I think I threw you the Devin Booker gif.
Turn my phone off when we lost it. I'm not getting no text messages from nobody.
You're like putting the group chat.
No, I don't know. I mean, we're still great, right? Like we started off the season 24-1. We're 6-6. Honestly, it was crazy because I thought we were gonna smack the shit out of Utah, and that game went to OT. They came back and almost won, and I'm like, we ended up winning in OT, which is good. But I think we're 7-6 in our last 13, which is rough. But the thing is like considering our record, we've had a ton of injuries this year. As is, like we have not really been healthy. And when we're healthy, it's hard because none of these guys are playing together and gelling. So I'll be curious to see if we can get like, some games under our belt fully healthy in like the middle of the year and kind of get the wheel turning. But it's nice to have a team this deep where like when we aren't healthy, we can still win games. But it's been frustrating last like week and a half to watch basketball. I'm like, dude, everything's going good. Oregon's winning, Seattle's winning, and then I'm like, dude, OKC killing my vibe a little bit. Let's pick it up a little bit.
Well, I'm actually in a good mood because I'm like, okay, the Suns and the Arizona Wildcats, basketball, I should say, not football so much, Arizona football, are the only teams that love me. The Suns have been surprising. And, I tweeted out, I posted a couple of things, but just all the credit in the world to like and you can see just a total shift in the way that the Suns locker room is and that unit right now. With Brooks and Booker, of course. So it's definitely refreshing to see. They've just performed a lot better than.
It looks healthy over there. That's the first time I've seen that team look like functional and healthy. Like I've watched a couple of their games. I'm a huge Devin Booker fan. So I've like watched a couple of their games and I'm like, that team looked happy on the bench for the first time in like 4 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That team never looked happy on the bench. They always looked, even when they were winning, they always looked down. So It's really cool to see that.
And I know we lost to the Rockets the other day. And of course, it was KD that had to shoot that 3-pointer. And then, of course, he brought it up after, I think it was brought up after the game too. And, it felt good to win and stuff. And I have no hate towards KD whatsoever. It's not like he wasn't putting up numbers here, but again, the locker room it was dysfunctional when he was here. I don't know how much a part of that it was, but obviously this team is centered around Devin Booker. He loves being here. He's not going anywhere, and obviously with KD out and just seeing the shift with all that, honestly, who did we think like Gillespie was gonna be? And you have Brooks over here. I forgot who called him. He's like, he's a dog. You would have never expected it from this team and the roster that we have, to be honest. And in case anyone cares, I'm still watching the Arizona games. About 8 minutes left. 78.
The shit out of them.
No, we weren't. They're actually pissing me off because they're letting them like linger around. It's been
They're by 16. You're okay.
I don't care. Now
see, UConn was down like 7 with like 3 minutes left and brought it to OT and won. I looked back at the score and I'm like, oh, UConn won? I thought they were gonna lose that game. I was hoping Michigan lost the other day to PSU, and I was like, damn, couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, and that makes me. I'll get into that here right now. No, it's just because obviously we're now in conference play. The Big 12 is stacked, and I always say that every year. I said the same thing last year, but it's the way that they're playing right now is just kind of frustrating. It's more in terms of the defense, not the offense with them. Obviously they started off their Big 12 play with Utah the other day. Caught that when I was in San Diego. But I want to go back to Michigan because I'm so sick of the Michigan narrative. I was so happy that they only won by 2 points because I'm so sick of the goddamn narrative that they should be number one simply because they're beating all these bozo teams by like 30 plus points. And in the poll this week, it looked like literally Arizona was only ranked first by like 2 or 3 votes or something like that. But you have just a Michigan fan swarming every single Arizona page that I am following, leaving their comments. And I'm like, bro, like build the resume. I'm not saying, and this is no hate to Michigan, great team. But I'm glad Barstool Arizona posted their score with like binoculars like this because now I can finally have you guys shut the F up.
Well, wasn't the problem that they literally beat the living shit out of Gonzaga? That was like the whole argument, right? They beat Gonzaga by like 50 points or some shit.
Yeah. And trust
Gonzaga's
me,
like 8th in the country, right? So
it's close. I'm telling you, it's very close. I mean, you can't just ignore the resume that Arizona had before coming into conference play. And again, this is one of the best conferences right now in terms of basketball. Obviously,
Big Ten too, though, has some good teams.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but UCF just fell off too because they're they got ranked after beating Kansas this week,
Yeah,
and
they're
then
like 24th,
lose
right?
the next game. Yeah, then lose the next game. They lost. I think it was either yesterday or today that they
It was
lost.
yesterday. It was yesterday. Yeah, I saw that.
And then Houston barely pulled off a win. I think close
Houston,
one.
no, Houston was. I watched that game. That game was crazy. It was Houston and Texas Tech, and I'm pissed because I had money on the over 135. They went for from 6 minutes to 3 minutes. Nobody scored. There was like a stretch of like 5 minutes where it was like 3 come back down and score, 3 come back down and score, and then they didn't score at all. But that game was crazy. And then that rookie from Houston was just torching them. He was hitting like 32-foot threes for fun. I was like, holy shit. And then, of course, I'm like, oh, the game's over. And then this kid from Texas Tech hits like a 40-foot bomb, and they score 134. And I'm like, really? We could just score 2 points in the fucking 6 minutes you guys decided not to score? But someone was saying that could be like a Final Four matchup. Both of those teams are really good, I guess. I'm not like in tune with college basketball as much this year as I'd like to be. But yeah, because Iowa is also ranked 3rd, right?
Yeah, Iowa. And it's funny, Iowa and Illinois. I just saw they're playing each other. I think this weekend. It's like the big game right at noon on Saturday, I believe.
And
that
Illinois is ranked what?
16 or something.
Yeah.
Only reason I know Illinois is good because they had that white boy that went in the draft last year, the point guard. I can't remember his name, but I'm like, Illinois is fun to watch. They play like crazy defense.
Yeah, and Illinois has Kylan Boswell, who's a former Arizona Wildcat too. So I've been keeping an eye on him. Yeah, he's on like he's done better when they're actually on like the posters for like the game and stuff like that. Speaking of Texas Tech, really quickly, I was so disappointed that the football team could only not even put up.
They put up 0.
A big dud, and it pissed me off because again, I was going for the only Big 12 team in the playoff, and the defense did their job. The offense couldn't do shit.
Oregon's defense was literally suffocating them the whole game. I was telling Guy too before in the pre-show. We didn't even talk about it. I'm hoping it's Oregon and Miami in the finals because my best friend, he's like plays video games for a living. So like the Alienware is like one of the big sponsors. So like the championship weekend, he texted me 2 weeks ago and he's like, "Hey, do you want to go tailgate in Miami on the championship weekend with me? Like we're doing this big sponsored event." And I'm like, well, obviously, like, that'll be huge. So then he texted me today. He goes, dude, Alienware gave me tickets for the game, for the championship game. So we're going to the championship game on the 19th. So it's going to be hopefully Oregon and Miami. That'd be so cool because obviously that's like a dream come true for me. Like going to in general, just because it's going to be football regardless, right? That's going to be an experience. But I'm like, it's just crazy to me because, like, we were going to go tailgating. He's like, maybe we could get tickets, but, like, don't look forward to it. And then he texts me and he's like, bro, they got us tickets. And it's, like, in a suite and shit. And I'm like, dude, this is going to be, like, the best experience of my life. Like, I've done stuff that's cool in my life. But, like, as a sports fan, to go, to the pinnacle of events for, like, a specific, like, for football, it's so cool to me. I'm so excited.
That is going to be super exciting, though.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm about to go buy some Oregon Ducks merch just to have it. I don't give a fuck who's in. I'm just gonna wear it.
So what's funny is when I was like picking colleges, I actually got into Oregon and I really wanted to go. And so naturally, like even from there, I have a lot of Oregon shit for some reason. And then they were in the Final Four here in Phoenix. Yeah. And my mom I wasn't living here at the time, but my mom went down and she got me literally just a bunch of whatever swag that she can get. So I always have like a soft spot in my heart for them. And like if they win instead of Indiana, I ain't gonna be mad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like the thing why I'm an Oregon fan is because I had a full ride to play football there. So like I was already like Seattle fan, I like followed Washington a lot, but then when they offered me and like I decided I wanted to play there, um, that's like when I really became a fan. That was like when Mariota and them played. So like that's when I like graduated high school. So like that was that whole era. And it's cool because like a couple of the kids that I went to high school with, like we were all like top rated punters. Like 2 of them play in the NFL now. So I always thought that was super cool. The Townsend brothers, they're from Orlando. So really cool.
Nice. Well, I did multiple rants already today. I went on
We
the
all
thing about
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, do you guys have anything?
I don't know. We didn't really talk about baseball. Do we want to talk about baseball? There's been some signings and stuff that have happened. I don't know if y'all care to talk about it, or the Blue Jays are making some freaking moves. They've signed some players that they were already in the World Series last year, and they've gotten better this offseason, significantly better. And then there was the big trade today with the Cubs and the Marlins, Cabrera for Cassie.
Big move, really.
I was surprised about that. Like, I know Cabrera is like an elite prospect, right? Like, he's got the arm, he's got all the talent in the world, but like, can't stay healthy, man. And Owen, like, when Tucker went down last year, like Owen came in and filled out like pretty well. I mean, he's their top prospect. So I was a little shocked to see like you're giving up one of your young cats for like I think Cabrera's 28 now or something like that.
Yeah,
not getting any younger.
And that was a good haul for the Marlins.
Yeah, it was huge haul. And honestly, the thing is that people don't understand is like the Marlins, like their farm system, like their pitching farm system is really, really good. Like they didn't really even have Weathers for most of the year. So they have Weathers, and then they have 2 kids that I literally followed them, and I can't remember the name right now, but I added them like in fantasy because I thought the one was going to get called up. He played for the Padres and then got traded to Miami. And he was like electric. Like they were comparing him like Paul Skeens in the minors. It was nuts. But like it doesn't hurt them is my point. Like them trading Cabrera, it does suck because you lose someone like that. But they have kids down in the minors. I think like Miami and Pittsburgh, those are 2 teams that like their minors are loaded with pitchers. Like they'll be fine regardless.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good trade. One, in the fact that you acquire an outfielder that's actually going to start day one on your team next year. And 2, that gives you the chance to call up these cats that are, going to be have chances to pitch innings next year. Night, Johnny boy. Thanks for tuning in, bro. But yeah, I love that trade for them. I thought it did a lot for their team. Oh, he said "Go Rebels." I didn't even see the end of this.
I know, that's why I chuckled.
I didn't even see that.
I was like, I thought he's a Georgia guy, and then I understood why.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was cool. And then I don't know if you guys want to say anything on that trade, but
yeah, I just think the Marlins made out really well. Like you said, they have a wealth of starting pitching depth in the minors, so it's like it's a no-brainer, and with a guy that's had innings restrictions and health issues, selling him high was a very shrewd business move, and I actually love that move for the Marlins. But
Robbie Snelling is his name, by the way, the pitcher. And then they have this other kid named Thomas White, who's literally elite. They're both left-handed pitchers too, which is kind of funny.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to keep some of this talent and not just be a feeder to the big market clubs like they usually are.
Well, I'd love for them to trade Sandy, get rid of Sandy, and then call up Thomas White and Robbie Snelling, and then you have because they have Jason Junk or whatever his name is, and then you have like a ton of younger pitchers that you can kind of like utilize and just grow them because you're not expected to be good, right? But if all of these pitchers develop and they're serviceable to good, and then you have a couple of elite guys, you can have one of the best pitching staffs in the MLB. Plus, then you just have to build out your bats. And they have some young guys that are cool, like Xavier Edwards, Otto Lopez, Connor Norby. Now you have Cassie, right? So if you can just build off of that, they're going to be – I'm not saying Miami's going to be good this year, next year, but they have a ton of talent that can be good.
100%. But the other thing is too is that, and it's not Miami related, but still a lot of big name free agents still out there.
Oh yeah,
that haven't signed. And when are they going to sign? Who knows? Maybe in the coming weeks. But pitchers and catchers report in like 5 weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kyle Tucker hasn't signed, right?
Yeah, Bellinger hasn't signed.
Bellinger,
Bichette,
Arise. Who's the pitcher? The big pitcher that was still on the market?
Oh,
Framber and Ranger.
Valdez.
Neither of them have signed. So there's a lot of like high level talent still out there, and I think the domino like everyone's waiting for is to see where Kyle Tucker goes, because then you can start signing like all your mid level players and stuff like that. But
right.
I'm surprised he hasn't signed anywhere yet. I thought he'd be like one of the first people to sign. I don't know what. There's probably something going on that we don't realize, but I don't know really what he's waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I think he has a price point that he wants to hit. I don't know if it's at least 400 million that he's looking for, but I think he's just trying to drive his price up a little bit, just to say that, oh, we have these teams that are interested, garner that interest. But yeah, I thought I read somewhere that it's the Cubs, the Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers still in.
I heard it was just the Yankees and the Dodgers at this point, but
the Mets are in on him too.
I know they're in on him, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like who's actually going to get him, I heard it's pretty much just the Yankees and the Dodgers. But who knows, bro? I saw Pete Alonso sign to the Baltimore Orioles this year, so who the fuck knows? I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe that to this day.
Yeah, that still doesn't make sense. The fact that he didn't get an offer is just wild to me.
Yeah, and he wasn't expensive.
No.
At all. Like, he was a cheap contract. Schwarber's contract, I can understand being that cheap because he probably gave Philly like a hometown discount. But to not even offer him something, I mean, he had a career year last year. He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
30 mil a year is not going to kill you.
For a run producer like that, it should be a no-brainer to.
Maybe Juan Soto didn't want him back. Maybe that's what came into play. Something like that.
Yeah, I could see that. But, that I know that definitely had a ripple effect on the market, because isn't Bregman still available too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of big bats still out there, and even the trade market still hasn't been utilized yet, because I know Arizona was in the market to sell off like Ketel Marte and guys like that. I don't know why, but
I don't think that's happening anymore, though.
Yeah, that was the rumor last year, but I don't think that the one short you made aged like milk.
Which one?
What short?
We all make shorts. I'm like, bro, I'm like.
Do you guys think that guy's a Patriots fan?
Yikes.
Drake main fan, X1F.
Or do you think he's a North Carolina fan? Which one do you think? Which one do you think it is?
He's a Chargers fan. He's definitely a Chargers fan.
Oh, okay. Patriots 2025 predictions. I think they'll go 13-4.
I remember having a short about that. We did a whole breakdown about it. Yeah.
I mean, I thought Gene and I thought that they were going to be good. Like, they weren't going to be bad.
I didn't think they were going to be good, but again,
I think the problem is everyone thought the Dolphins were going to be good, right? Like, so everyone thought that division would be much more competitive.
I didn't think the Dolphins were going to be good either.
I thought they were who they were, like they haven't shown me anything.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Is any Patriots fan, and this is not me saying that you're an annoying Patriots fan or we don't like you, follow, like, subscribe. It's that you guys had the easiest schedule and the fourth easiest schedule in NFL history, right? Ooh. And if you go back earlier you go rewatch this whole podcast, I said I hope that the Patriots win just so that they can get off of that stigma, but it wouldn't be shocking if they lose, because they haven't – the only teams that they've played that are in the playoffs They're like 2-2 against. So they're not like dominating teams, and they haven't dominated all year. Now, what they've done as a franchise has been significant, and Vrabel has done a phenomenal job. I think everybody agrees that Vrabel is a top-level head coach. Nobody knows why the fuck the Titans fired him. There's a lot of stuff we don't understand, but good for the Patriots they got him. Drake May took a major leap this year, but everyone acts like, again, that their receiving core is not good. It's subpar. You have Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, Matt Collins, Kayshon Boutte's been good. Kyle Williams has looked really good when used. So it's like they're not a bad team by any means either, no one expected Drake May to take the leap that he did this year. He took some quarterbacks take a step or two forward. He literally jumped like 8 feet forward. He's looked fantastic. And they drafted him to be that, right? Like he got drafted to be this level. And this is the level that people saw when they took him that early. He wasn't, he didn't really do a whole lot at North Carolina, right? Like to make him go that high, but it was the potential and the intangibles and the arm strength that he had. He has, I think there was a statistic that nobody's ever led in passing percentage, like completion percentage and air yards, like with the ball. And he leads the NFL in both as of week 18. So that's like the big argument for him to win the he's just trolling now.
Ooh, I haven't heard that nowhere. Oh my God.
Bang bang.
That's the whole argument for him to win MVP is because usually if you're checking the ball down, you have a higher completion percentage, but he's literally airing the ball down the field like significantly more than any other quarterback, and he has the highest completion percentage. So that's a really cool stat, and honestly, it's really impressive when you take a step back and think about it. But that's what they drafted him for, and that's what everyone thought he could be, and he's stepped into those shoes, and I'm happy for him. And like I said, I can hate teams, but I can always appreciate when franchises and players and coaches and whatever are doing what, is unexpected or expected, and like they're doing it overperforming. So it's really cool what the Patriots have done this year, but it's hard to believe in them with the schedule that they had. It really is.
And 2 of those wins are against one of the worst teams in the New York Jets. So those don't count. Oh, and I saw Portos in the comments. Jets football is why I'm dead inside. Me too.
Poor guy.
I know it's really a struggle. This franchise, I probably have never seen it worse.
Dude, I'm looking at the Patriots schedule right now. I'm so sorry.
Significant win that they have.
You just want me to list out their schedule team by team really fast?
Oh, they lost to the Raiders.
Listen to this shit. Week 1, lost to the Raiders. Week 2, beat the Dolphins. Week 3, lost to the Steelers. They beat the Panthers, who we can think whatever we want about them. They beat the Bills in Buffalo, which was a good win by 3. They beat the Saints. They beat the Titans. They beat the Browns. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Bucks. They beat the Jets. They beat the Bengals. They beat the Giants. Lost to the Bills, which they were up by 14 and lost that game. Beat the Ravens, which is a okay win. They didn't make the playoffs, Beat the Jets and beat the Dolphins. Like, if you didn't tell me whose schedule that was and just read that schedule, I'd be like, that's got to be the most garbage schedule I've ever heard.
100%.
That's literally the middle game stretch was like bum team after
I know.
Bum team after
Saints,
team.
Titans, Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants. Like,
Cupcakes.
Oh my God.
It's okay because they might get exposed, like to your point, in the playoffs, right? Like you need to battle some type of adversity, and in the playoffs, every game's going to be tough.
But I said this weeks ago too, right? Like I didn't think that even if they made even if it went through Gillette, that they'd make it past the first round they have to play, simply because they're a young, inexperienced team that had a really easy schedule, and they didn't really play from behind this year. And in the playoffs, you have to win from behind, right? Like you can't lose to Buffalo up 14 at the end of the season, and everyone's like, oh, okay, maybe they're a good team, I don't know. And again, I would love to see them win to beat the allegations, but they're playing a hard-nosed, gritty Chargers team that wins games. And I don't know. My condolences to Cardinals, Jets, Raiders, Giants fans to your loss of watching your team lose every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday.
We didn't lose every single one of those. We have 3 wins that I'm holding on to very preciously. Okay.
Actually, you know what I'm curious? Just because he said that, I want to see what their combined wins are this year.
Ooh.
Cardinals had 3.
Jets had 3.
6. The Raiders had 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
9.
Giants have 4.
The Giants have 5, right? Where are they at? Oh, 4. Yeah. Sorry. They have 13 wins combined. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 teams in the NFL that have more wins or equal wins than those 4 teams.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I don't know, like, because I told you, like, I don't care that, like, I'm the only team allowed to basically talk shit about my team, obviously, because I watch every single game. I mean, how many realistically are people, they just like to see whatever GIF or flyer is thrown out on ESPN and go off of that. You know what I mean? I've already known how bad this team was. I've watched literally 17 weeks of shit. So you don't have to, like, tell me. But I was going somewhere with this, but I can't even remember. He got me all in a whole thing, but I like this stuff doesn't like rage bait me as much anymore because I'm like, bro, I'd be saying the same shit about my team.
Yeah. If it was the beginning of the season and like when you thought you guys were gonna be good still, this would probably
7-10, I'm only 4 wins off. So it's completely terrible.
Only 4 wins.
I was kind of close.
You guys gave me shit for saying that they were going to be like 4 or 5 win team.
Hey,
this
I
is before I was on
12.
here. I wasn't on here for those.
Oh yeah, not you, Sean, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but you're better than Gene jumping shit.
Well, yeah.
Gene's a fan. Gene's a fan of all teams. He tried to hex my team. Y'all saw that shit? I said, "Demon be gone." I had to throw fucking holy water on him by the time I saw him. I said, "Back up, bitch! You're not cursing my team."
It worked for the Steelers.
Yeah, with the holy water.
Yeah, in the end zone, that was crazy. I could not. When I saw that, I'm like, "Oh wow, they really did throw a curse on the." They knew what end zone they'd be kicking out of at the end of the game.
Yeah, literally.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was insane.
But see, the problem with like Patriots, and this is why sometimes people don't like Patriots fans. Why are you inserting yourself in the Jets business? We don't talk about you because we're too busy dealing with our own fucking mess to like deal with anything. But sometimes when it comes to the Jets, they're the easiest team to kind of pick on because of all of this stuff. So like you talking shit about the easiest like person, like pick on someone your own size, go talk shit about.
But he don't want to talk about 2023 and 2024 when they were 4-13.
Yeah.
I hope the Chargers whoop their ass. Like I want to cue like
I'm gonna take it back and I'll say Chargers.
I do want the Chargers to whoop their ass, but I do want the Patriots to win simply be so like the allegations can be gone and they can say they won a good game just to get destroyed the next week. You know, then it'd be even better. Like, oh yeah, they actually beat a good team and they just get beat by like 30 the next week. Oh my God. But you know how insufferable. Imagine if the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be insufferable. I don't think they have a good enough offense to beat the elite defenses. Like if they had to play Houston, I don't see them beating Houston or Seattle. Those two teams mash up in the Super Bowl. But man, that would be.
The thing is, I follow a lot of Patriots like content creators. Like one of them, he's my favorite. He's always in my videos. No dance this week. No this. No this. It's not imaginable. It's going not if more of your players keep catching cases. You know what's crazy? I used to love Stephon Diggs so much. Like I don't know what it.
He probably would have loved you if you met him.
No, literally. Love me to death.
Hey. So you got some codeine on you, girl?
No, and I used to love him, and ever since he went to the Patriots, it's like his attract. Well, and I liked him because there's like his vibe, and then it was that locker room video for the Vikings.
Oh, when everyone's like, "Who would you let your daughter date?"
Yeah.
Everyone says Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and I was like, I've loved him since that video, and then ever since we went to the Patriots, I'm like, all right, you got Cardi B knocked up, which is fine. I love Cardi B, but you also got like 3 other baby mamas, like that you had 3 or 4 babies this year that are still just TBD, and now you catch a case. And I'm like, and then on the boat with like the pink pills or whatever it was, and I was like, Garrett Wilson, yeah, Garrett Wilson would never. Garrett Wilson
even if they're false allegations, Drake May fan, he's not a good person. Like, no one in here is gonna agree with you that he's a good person. He's not Antonio Brown levels bad, but he's not like some role model guy either, you know. You're probably one of those fans where you think all of your players are good, but there's other Patriots fans that act like your whole team sucks and you guys are this good out of nowhere. Like, you guys have a good core, and Stephon Diggs is a good player. We're not saying that. He's just not a good person. Nobody here thinks he's a good person is the issue.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Don't be elsewhere, Drake May fan. You ain't gonna.
Well, but no. Follow, like, and subscribe before you leave.
Follow, like, and subscribe.
Come troll us next. Well, Abby will be gone next week, but come troll me and Guy next week. Next Wednesday.
Go Chargers!
After the Patriots lose.
Oh, and especially coming here if the Patriots lose, please.
I might have to dig up some like Chargers gear.
I'll tell you what. I hope that we don't play the Rams and lose, because Siegel fan is gonna come in here and be fucking obnoxious. I haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Hope he's okay.
Star Spangled?
Yeah, Star Spangled. Yeah. Oh man.
Well,
yeah, I got a couple of those.
Well, another good show with you guys. Appreciate you all joining us this evening. We were a little early today, but every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. I will be unfortunately gone next week, but Sean and Guy will be holding down the fort. And then I will see you guys the following week. But please like and subscribe on all the social media channels. Thank you so much. Bye.